we doing, everybody? You got Carlton versus Essendon today. Big game for both clubs, of course. Essendon can keep their spot in the 8. How you doing, Mary? John, I think it was. How you doing, man? The game's about to start right now. Ball bounces down and so's off with the first quarter of this big match for both sides. In the middle, Merritt gets the first touch, gets out the handball to Stringer. Handball's to Caldwell. A lot of pressure early on this ball. Perkins off the ground, gets a kick straight into Cottrell. Will be another stoppage. It's a big game for both teams. Carlton currently, as this game stands, are in the bottom 4. Essendon in the top 8 at the moment can really push for that top 8 spot this year if they can win this one. They should win tonight. Brody Kemp gets the handball out, only just Wiedering. Off to Young, and he has to kick out a defensive 50. Cut off pretty easily, though, by Jake Stringer. Yeah, John. Alright, I'm going to have to remember that. John. Yeah, I'm doing pretty good today, man. So Jake Stringer takes it about 50 metres out, cuts that ball off. Was a poor kick from Young coming out. Tried to hit Chera, just put too much on the kick. And a chance here for Jake Stringer to kick the Bombers first. Had a pretty good year, Jake Stringer. Kicked 7 goals, 1 from set shots so far. He comes in. He's hit off the side of the boot. Won't even make the distance. Just outside the goal square, is spoiled through for a behind by the Blues. That's the first goal of Sunday night football. Who do you go for? I'll go for Sydney. Sard getting a couple of boos. He stands still in the defensive 50. Doesn't have many options. Now he has a leading Cottrell, but gets sport away from McGrath, who's found his spot in the defensive 50 this year. They finally settled him as a defender. And he's been very good this year, Andrew McGrath. Probably a future captain. You go for Richmond? Oh, okay, you had a good win on... Yeah, you had a good win against Fremantle. So Coney knocks it down. Eventually gets out the handball to Chera. Looks like the Blues will get the clearance here. Goes long down the wing. Curnow leading up. Good sport from Ridley. On the ground is Motlop. Curnow got it stolen by his own teammate and Cripps. Then the left it behind. Did well there was Guelphy. And then a kick going forward here for the Blues. Going back with the flight was Laverde. Got tackled well from Owies. Dragged to ground. It'll be a stoppage inside the forward 50. I think Essendon should win this game. Lockdown to Draper. Coming through was Martin. Been brilliant this year. Heppel. Here go the Bombers. They love their speed through the game. Durham. He gets it out wide to Ridley. Now Martin kept on going. Oh, he's a hard worker. Kicks it out wide to Kyle Langford. He's been brilliant this year as well. The Bombers have been so good. You think Carlton? Okay. So now Langford, defensive side of the wing, goes long. Poor kick, though, from Langford. That's on the full. So Ed Kerner will take the kick here. Kyle Langford, better kick than that. It was pretty poor. Because my brother does. Okay. It's actually Young who's going to take this kick on the wing. He goes long. DeConing's there. Up goes Draper from 4 deep. Knocks it down. Heppel was clean. Did well. Gives out the handball to Langford. Langford looking for a shotgun. He's got someone on shotgun. It's Perkins. He wheels around on the right boot. Drives it towards 50. Up goes Wiedering. Good sport from behind from Wiedemann. Here go the Bombers. Stringer out the back. Can he pick it up? Guelphy. He taps it along to his captain, Zach Merritt, who couldn't finish. Should have kicked that one, Zach Merritt. That's a behind. So Kemp gets it in short. He goes out wide for Walsh. He finds him. Been a bit quiet the last few weeks, Sam Walsh. Needs to lift tonight if Carlton are going to have a chance. So now McGovern goes into the middle of the ground. It's a dangerous kick. Cut off by Wright. Couldn't grab it though. On the ground, Motlop. Out the back to Chincotta. Now the Blues working through the middle of the ground. Cripps, that was a high fend off. That'll be a free. Bombers will get a free kick here. Way too high there from Cripps. Bit of a surprise, the Blues going through the middle of the ground. Lucky trying to get the ball moving, but then Cripps just hit Perkins square in the face. Definitely a free kick. He plays on. He had Martin in short. Decides to go longer to it. Up goes Wright from a couple of deep. Couldn't mark it. Sard dropped that. He could be in trouble. Kemp eventually gets out their handball. McGovern handballs it away to really no one in particular. Chera picks it up. Dug deep. He gave it out to Walsh, who kicks it towards the wing. No one in particular out there. Will go to Ridley. Ridley picks it up, goes in short to Heppel. Good find. He's got Martin in short. He finds him easily. So about 2 good kicks away from goal. Martin goes on a lead. Great kick. And finds Durham on the lead. Been a revelation this year. Kicked the winner against Richmond on Dreamtime. He sets it up. Towards the top of the goal square. Draper couldn't mark. Coming through was Guelphy. Grabbed it. And didn't have an option on the right. So Will's back on the left. The handball was nearly cut off by Cripps. Wiedemann. Now Caldwell. And now Perkins. Bombers get it inside the forward 50. Coming through there was Young. Just fists it away. Langford fists it towards the goal square. Saad did well on Menzie. Now he clears it. Coming through was Mackay. Couldn't grab it. Oh, he taps it out to Mackay. And now the Blues can clear. Cripps out to Motlop. Motlop gets a bit of a run here. He's got Perkins chasing, but he is quicker, Motlop. Didn't have any options forward. So he has to wheel back and go in short. Curnow to Mackay. Still got no options forward here, the Blues. So he goes back to Curnow on the handball. The kick inside. Wasn't the best, but it gets the chair on the bounce. And now Chincotta goes for home from 60 metres. Chincotta with a massive finish to start off Sunday night football. What a finish. No one on the goal line. He had to do it himself. No one for Carlton got forward. And Carlton get the first goal. Who's your favourite player? Probably Tom Papley. Good start for the Blues. Chincotta from a good 60, 70 out just bombed it. It's in the VFL system last season with Carlton. Got into the main team this season. He's been in and out, but that was a great finish. So now Phillips gets the tap down. Stringer couldn't break away. Eventually got out to Perkins. Looks like he's playing a little more midfield time tonight. Great tap down for Merritt. And here goes Redmond. Streaming off a halfback. Gives it off to Stringer. Stringer. Up and under. Kick inside the forward 50. Up goes Menzie. Caused the contest. Actually did pretty well. Now Martin slung to ground. Great tackle from Hobbs on Walsh. Didn't get a handball away. And he's gone. Great work from Ben Hobbs. With injuries of Parrish and Shield, he's been going into the middle and he's been brilliant. He drives it along to the top of the goal square. In front, Peter Wright. Was massive last season in a poor season for the Bombers. 2 metre Peter takes the mark. Am I your favourite? Favourite what? So Peter Wright comes in. Not too much distance to speak of. Kicks the goal and the Bombers get there first. Messenger. I mean, I guess. He's the only one here at the moment. So the Bombers get there first. Both Mitch McGovern and Jaden Laverto both playing 100th games of their careers tonight. Subs are Paddy Dow for the Blues and D'Ambrosio for the Bombers. Both of them were subs last week. Brilliant start from Archie Perkins. Already had the 5 touches in the middle of the ground. Great mark from Peter Wright. Always, if he gets his hands up, he's going to be impossible to beat impossible to beat up in the air. Great mark. 50 goals last year from this guy. Back in the ruck, Phillips knocks it down. Stringer with a spin was nice. Great tackle from Cripps on Perkins, but he got out the handball. Merritt out to Hind. Stepped well against Walsh. Now the Bombers can move it through hands. He gets it out wide to Hobbs. Hobbs was in short. Great kick. Finds Martin. How you doing, Big Al? Martin kicks it inside the forward 50. Up goes Wright. Can't mark it. Out the back, Menzie. Gets out the handball. Coming through was Walsh. Good tackle on Menzie. May have been in the back. Then he gets a free kick for it. A free kick to Walsh in the back 50. They want to go quickly in the Blues tonight. So he gives it out wide to Akers, who goes a long kick, but it was a poor kick. And it goes out on the full. Didn't really have that lead-up option, though. He just went long for space, and he kicked it out on the full. So Laverde goes in short, finds Redmond. Probably in All-Australian form at half-back this year, Redmond. Definitely in the 40-man squad. He goes wide. That's a poor kick. Akers cuts it off, and the Blues go immediately. Doherty to Curnow, and now Curnow goes long to Mackay to one-on-one. Good body from Mackay. No, it wasn't. Free kick. So really, we get the free kick at half-back here for the Bombers. So in short, he finds McGrath. Big crowd at the MCG tonight. McGrath plays on and goes long. Free kick's been pulled out. We'll go to Phillips. Former Carlton player was Phillips, playing with Essendon tonight. Merritt goes in short. Great find. Finds Hobbs on the lead. Basically with a 50 meets the boundary line, members side. He plays on now, Hobbs. Drives it to the top of the goal square. Seems to be the plan. Comes up. Right, can't take the mark. Kennedy gets out a small handball. Silvani got a reprieve. He's in there. Stringer fumbles out to Silvani. Got a kick away. Great pick up from Chincotta. Over to great bump there from Phillips on Motlop. Langford gets the 1-2. He make it a third. Eventually gets off the handball out the wide here, the Bombers. Martin tried to break one tackle. Gets off the handball to Snelling. He gets off the handball. It's a huge scramble at the moment. Stringer breaks past another. Langford with a great little tap on. Wiedemann lost his feet though. And now Snelling gets tackled well, brought to ground. There'll be a ball up. Are you American? No, I'm Australian. So just outside, about 25, 30 out from the Bombers' goal, straight in front. Young knocks it down to Kennedy. Probably been one of the bright lights for Carlton this year. Chincotta almost threw that away. Just handed it to Cripps, making his problem. And then Hobbs sits on top. Will be another ball up. Young knocks it down. Hobbs nearly gathered it, but Kennedy did well. Gave it off to Hobbs, who had a fresh airy. Gave it to Young, in fact, who had a fresh airy. Cripps does well to Akers, and now the Blues can stream out a defensive 50. Walsh to Motlop, he goes out wide. On the bounce, gets to Doherty. Tries to spin out of a McGrath tackle, but he wasn't good enough. Ridley gathers the turnover. Goes in short. Finds Hobbs. This is his third touch from a third mark. He goes in short to Martin. He has an option inside the forward 50. He goes longer than that to right. Great mark. Wasn't paid, play on to the call. Curnow's happy to just hold the ball. He gets dragged to ground. He's going to get paid for a sling, I think. No, it's not. Langford snaps around on goal, and it's just through for a behind. I don't think it was a mark, to be honest. No, he didn't really grab it. I don't think it was a mark to Peter Wright, to be honest, but anyway. Kill the Bombers, come on. You're Victoria? No, I'm actually from South Australia. So now the Blues work it out wide to Mackay, who immediately plays on. Definitely the plan for Carlton tonight. He goes towards forward 50, gets out the back from Curnow. Motlop steps McGrath with ease. He kicks towards goal. Motlop, it's going to go across the face. The bounce, there's actually a Blue who's going to get there first. It's Akers. He's in the forward pocket, fumbles a little, has some space. Akers snaps on goal. Will it get there? No, Phillips on the last line, fists it through for a behind. Akers got no distance on that snapshot. He's usually a pretty booming kick, but that was a shocker. So now Durham at half-back. Works it out wide to a running Hind. He loves to go for a bit of a gallop, this man. He's got Mackay chasing him. Mackay's got a bit of pace as well. Hind finds Menzie. Great kick. Should have been paid a mark. Eventually fisted away. It'll be out of bounds. Forward half of the wing on the outer side here for the Bombers. You want butter? I appreciate it. I'm assuming that meant better, but anyway. In the ruck, Silvani gets it down to Cottrell. He clears it forward. Up goes Curnow against two. Did nicely to bring it to ground. Now Owies turns nicely for about 55 metres out. Carlton to get there second. Goes through for another behind. No butter? Oh, okay, thank you. It's not rude. I don't really understand what that means, but I'm going to say thank you. McGrath goes with a long kick down the wing. It's not the best kick. Chera cuts it off. Spoils it about a good 30 metres forward. Curnow, if he picks it up, he's away here. Martin with a great tackle on Charlie Curnow, but it's going to be going to be a high free kick. I think it was there. So Charlie Curnow. Chance here for Carlton to get their second. Yeah, it was high on Martin. Curnow was down with the football and Martin's arm went straight across the shoulder. So a chance here for Charlie to kick his first of the night. Been a bit quiet the last few weeks. Charlie comes in, kicks towards goal. He's at the post. You're 88 years old. Time for bed, man. So now it's all level. Ridley plays on here from the kick in. Runs a good 15 metres, then drives it long to the outer wing. 2-on-1. Up goes Young. Nearly brought it down. In front was Guelphy, who fumbled though. Chera then turns it over to Hobbs. Hobbs works it out wide to Heppel, and now he got the Bombers. McGrath to Martin. Over the top to Hobbs, who probably cut it from his teammate and Caldwell. He eventually gets it. Kicks it out wide to Durham. It was behind him though. He's going to have to pick it up. Gets back. He's got Cottrell running at him, but the Durham kick on the left was poor. Well, right there from Silvani. Took the ball and ran. Silvani eventually puts it on the boot with a long kick. It's going to be a tough bounce for Ridley. Gets out that back to Curnow. Curnow kicks it long for about 80 metres. Now Charlie Curnow, the bounce will matter, but another behind. Carlton, they've had, against the Swans a couple of weeks ago, they had their chances, but they couldn't kick straight. They've already kicked 4 behinds in this one. A lot of them have been blazing away from a huge distance out. I don't know about that kick there from Charlie Curnow. He could have definitely waited for a teammate to lead up at him. But he went for glory. You go for the Suns, crazy pavings. They've been playing really good this year. I've been really happy watching the Suns. So now Snelling at half-back. He goes in short. Finds Hobbs. This is already his 4th mark of the game, this kid. He's done really well. I think he's only 19 years of age. So Hobbs at half-back goes long. Towards Phillips, he jumped with nowhere near the ball, but he got a free kick for his troubles. Beaming red hair, drives it inside the forward 50 again. He's got Draper on the lead. Wiedering cut it off. Couldn't take the mark though. Langford didn't have the ball in possession there, and I think he's got a free kick. Wiedering plays on though, and he's cost it. No, it was a free. It was a player. It was an umpire's decision. So Kyle Langford, big chance here. Did get a free kick. McGovern held him without the football. But then Snelling gave it off to Wiedemann, and Wiedemann took a second to kick it. I think that was advantage. That was definitely advantage against Wiedemann. He took that kick after the whistle. But it wasn't paid, so it's brought back to Kyle Langford now. About 30 metres out, pretty much straight in front. The kick, Bombers second. He comes in. Umpire shuffles a little, but it's good enough. Langford gets the goal, and the Bombers back in front. I'll definitely be taking on... You'll be taking on Carlton on the 18th. You'll definitely watch that in person. Oh, yeah, that's... Are you a Victorian, are you? That's weird to be barracking for the Gold Coast, but they've been playing really good lately. They've been like my second... I mean, after the Swans I barracked for, I've been loving the Gold Coast. Matty Rao, probably I said it last night on stream. Matt Rao's my favourite player to watch outside of the Swans. He's been brilliant. Great work there from the Bombers. Got a bit lucky with that non-advantage call because he played on there, Wiedemann. He knew that was a free kick, and he just took the kick anyway. But back in the middle now, Taccone knocks it down, Cripps, taps it away. Chera puts his hands up, grabs the ball, then tackled by 2 Bombers. Be another stoppage. Just under 7 minutes to go in this first term. Catch you later, John. Draper knocks it down, coming through was Hobbs. We get the clearance. Great smother though from Sard. Rebounds back to Chera, gets pushed in the back from Hobbs. It should have been a free kick, and it is. You beat the shit out of the Crows last week. Yeah, it was a good game actually. So now the Blues, Boyd off half-back, gets the kick long. Great kick in the end. He finds Jack Martin, who kicks it in short inside the forward 50, but Laverde read that brilliantly, takes the mark. Found it difficult to get into this team for a lot of years, Laverde, but he finds himself in the back 50 now. He's been very good this season. So Hind goes out wide to Heppel. Still inside the defensive 50 of the Bombers. More than happy to just share the ball around at half-back here the Dons. Laverde has Hind in short, decides not to go there. He goes longer instead towards the outer wing. 1-on-2 is Peter Wright to Koning. Should have marked that. Durham gets it out. Snelling has time to pick it up, then fumbled though. Great work from Chera to dive in there, get the ball out. To Ed Curnow, down to Charlie. Great mark. Charlie Curnow is a good 55 metres out from goal. He's got a couple of players leading into the pocket. All of them are leading towards goal though. So Charlie Curnow says, I'll do it myself. And the kick was poor. They've been wasting some opportunities in this first quarter, the Blues. Curnow should have been looking for an option there, but just blazed away from 55 and didn't nail it at all. So now Redmond has the ball at half-back. He plays on, doesn't really have an option, so he just drives it down the wing once again. It's 2-on-1 in Blues' favour. Up goes Wiedering, great mark. So now Wiedering goes in short to find Sard. Usually a booming kick. He wants to go wider towards the members' side, finds Akers. Akers got a couple of players leading towards him, decides to go to the pocket to a 1-on-1. Silvani and Ridley. Ridley did brilliantly. Great play from Ridley. Goes with a handball to Redmond, and then he goes in short to Martin. Nick Martin already had this will be his 10th touch of the game so far. Arguably an All-Australian form, this guy. If they're going to be picking an out-and-out wingman this year, he's up there. Langford gets a free kick here for a chop of the arms against Brody Kemp. So Langford on centre wing will get the free kick. 4.5 minutes to go in this first quarter. Carlton probably been better this quarter so far, but they haven't taken their opportunities. Langford goes long, up goes to Coney, couldn't mark it. Guelphy with the hands out, couldn't get it to right. Now Curnow in there. Caldwell was tackled him well. Then the handball from Perkins was poor. Here go the Blues. Walsh off to Chera. Now he gives it off to McGovern. McGovern works it inside with a great kick. Here go the Blues. They're out wide here through Akers. If he marks it, he's away. He fumbles it. Had heaps of time though. Akers has a couple of options in short. He breaks past Caldwell. Still hasn't kicked it. Eventually just sends it up in the air to Motlop in a 2-on-1. Up goes Cottrell. Couldn't mark it. Hind tackled well from Cripps. And still going in there. No one can get out of there. Cripps tackled well from Hind. Dragged to ground. And eventually the umpire says, give it to me. That was poor from Carlton. Akers had to just... Someone had to lead up at him. No one did. So now Phillips knocks it down. Oh, he's out of it. Out of the stoppage. Couldn't get it forward enough. Curnow ran past it. Martin has some time in the defensive pocket. Goes long and high. Wright gives an option. Couldn't mark it. Now Guelphy was brilliant there. Gets out the hands. And now Stringer can go. Steps past two Blues. He runs past Doherty. Eventually kicks it long. Draper in a 1-on-1. Wiedering did well, and he'll get a free kick for his troubles. Draper not impressed, but Wiedering gets the free. So Wiedering at halfback, or defensive side of the wing here. Doesn't have too many options leading, so he goes long. Came a little bit off the side of the boot, but to Koning in front. Mackay almost spoiled him. McGrath out to Redmond, back to McGrath. The Bombers moving okay at the moment. Good kick, finds Stringer in short. No one man to the mark here for Stringer. He could actually go. Doesn't have too many options, but he's just going to go long towards the forward 50. Wright had two against him, and Young thumps it over the line. Mackay should wake up and stop slacking. No, it's just... I don't know, Carlton this year. This team's currently in the top 4, and they should be challenging for the 8. I think they should be challenging for top 4, but I don't think it's Michael Voss's fault. I just think this culture at Carlton is just lazy. Marriott did well, tapped it out to Hobbs. Now Perkins and Martin. Hot hit behind play, there was Martin. But Merritt kicks it inside the forward 50 with the advantage. Up goes Wright, couldn't mark it. Wiedemann, good step. Gave off the handball. Guelphy came through, tackled by 2. 3 Blues. And it'll be another ball up. So just outside the goal square here for the Bombers. Late in the first quarter. Wright knocks it down. Stringer came through, just couldn't gather it. Then stepped Akers, but left the ball behind. Chincotta, great cut off of the handball from Martin. Chera gets it out to Sard. He has a booming left boot outside the defensive 50. Didn't get much on that one, though. Great work from Owies. Oh, got a job with the arms free here, Heppel. So just outside the forward 50 here of the Bombers. I don't know about that free kick. But Heppel sets it up to Wiedemann. Great work from McGovern in front. Chincotta couldn't grab it. Wiedemann, great hands out the back. Caldwell couldn't gather it. Now Sard got on that ball, but then he hasn't done much with it. Could be in trouble here. Umpire gives him a reprieve. It'll be a ball up. Minute and 43 seconds to go in this first quarter. Bombers up by 4. Young knocks it down. Coming through was Chera, couldn't get it. Now the Bombers through Stringer. Goes for home. It fades a little. And it goes through for a behind. I think that's better. Alright, so McGovern takes the kick in here for the Blues. He goes long towards the members' side. It's just been a lot of long kicking to Pax at the moment. Draper thumps it away from Mackay and it goes out of bounds. Maybe next year or next decade. They should be up. With the lifts that they have right now, they should be competing for finals, not be in the bottom 4. In the ruck, to Coney, knocks it down. Chera left it behind. Free kick's being ripped out here. It's going to go to Zach Merritt for a free kick. Must have been a hold off the play. He's getting tagged tonight from Ed Curnow. Merritt immediately plays on. He knows the speed on the ball's great. Goes into right. Couldn't mark it. Good spoil away from Young. Doherty to Walsh. To Koning. Gave it to Doherty under pressure. He just had to kick it on the boot. Wasn't a good option. Now Redmond gives it off to Martin. Martin cool in a calm situation. Goes out wide to Snelling. Good cut off there from Sard. He kicks it out wide to himself. Snelling puts on the pressure. Sard goes to ground. Cottrell gives it back to Sard on his knees. Now to Motlop. Motlop over the top. Mackay, good mark. So Mackay, defensive side of the wing. He goes in short to Chincotta, who's been good early. Only goal kicker so far for the Blues. So Chincotta, defensive side of the wing. Outer side. He plays on now. Goes long towards half forward. It's a shocking kick, though. Laverde dropped an absolute sitter, but luckily goes out of bounds. I don't know what Charlie Curnow's really complaining about. The kick, I mean, he was asking for the ball about 70 metres away from the kicker. Like, give him an option. I don't know. Anyway. So Curnow's still sticking with Merritt at the moment. Back in the ruck, just outside the forward 50 for the Blues. DeConey knocks it down to Cottrell, who gets it inside the forward 50. Coming through was Owies, couldn't mark it. Laverde will get there first, running toward the boundary line, and Owies drags him over. Oh, here we go. A bit of a fracas here in the forward pocket for the Blues. Owies, Ridley, Redmond loves a little bit of a tussle. Players separate now. Still in the forward pocket here for the Blues. 15 seconds to go. Umpire throws it in again. To Coney and Draper. To Coney knocks it down to Cripps. Just couldn't grab it at the crucial stage. Did well to get over the top of it. Then dragged it in. He could be in trouble here, Cripps. The umpire pins him. So that will be our quarter time scores. Nick Martin with the free. He was brilliant in that first quarter. But at quarter time, King's birthday eve, the Bombers lead 2-4-16 to Carlton 1-5-11. Alright, I'll just bring up the scores, the statistics now, guys. Oh, quarter 12, if anyone's wondering. Idiot. Yeah, Nick Martin was brilliant in that first quarter. Holy shit. Got a bug on my bloody screen. Sorry. Alright, guys. So at quarter time, Leading disposal getter on the ground is Nick Martin with the 13. He's been brilliant so far, by far being the best player on the ground. Stringer with the 9 along with Archie Perkins. Ridley with the 8, and then Chera leading it for Carlton with the 8 touches as well. And if you AFL fantasy watchers out there, we have Nick Martin with the 51, Langford with the 46, Hobbs with Hobbs with the 35, Stringer with the 34, and then Archie Perkins with the 30 rounds out the top 5. Be right back in 4th. All good. Thanks for joining the stream for now anyway. Pavings. Should be rhyme, brother. Oh, it's hard to breathe. Oh. Go away. That bit sucked. Charlie Kerner's 3 behind so far. That's freaking atrocious from a key forward. Oh, that kick was poor. I don't know why they're making excuses for Carlton. Like, far out. I mean, yeah, they got that goal from Chin Cotter in the middle of the ground, but they had to get him. I mean, they had to do so much just to get a chance on that goal. Their kicking is atrocious, Carlton. This team is not not anywhere near top 8 standard, even though they have a list that should be up there. Michael Voss isn't looking too impressed in the huddle at the moment. Talking to his players, he's calling out, I think, Matthew Kennedy there, which I'm a bit surprised with. He's probably been Carlton's best this whole year. It's been one of the better ones, anyway. So players getting back to position now for the second term. Bombers led it by 5 points. Carlton did have a good part of the first quarter where they were better than the Bombers, but they just couldn't capitalise. Charlie Curnow's already kicked 3 points when he should have already kicked 3 goals. He hasn't really had a difficult shot at goal yet. Bombers look good. Zach Merritt's being tagged, but he hasn't had to do much so far. Umpire's ready to bounce the ball for the second term. And here we go. DeConey knocks it down, but Draper, he just runs away. Kicks it inside the forward 50 off the ground. Leaves it there was Snelling. Young picks it up, then tackled well from Snelling. Should be another ball up, and it is. So the Bombers get the early clearance inside their forward 50 already. Draper's one of my favourite footballers to watch. Such a cult hero already at the Bombers. In the ruck, both ruckmen miss it. Perkins gets it out to Hobbs. He did well, gets the kick away. Goes about 20 metres, up goes Stringer. Cherry did okay. He'll get a free kick here as well. Yeah, Stringer just didn't get the jump on Cherry. Just jumped all over him, and Cherry gets the free kick. So Cherry works it back to Sard. That went about 5 metres. Has no one really coming at him, so he just goes, he shot to Doherty. The kick was lucky. Doherty just took the mark. That should have been 50 against the Bombers against Menzies. But nonetheless, Doherty goes back to Sard. Working it small, short and sweet at the moment, the Blues. He's got Silvani on the lead, but decides not to do that. And he goes longer towards Curnow. He got up, takes the mark. Great mark from Charlie. So Charlie Curnow, centre wing. Had to find him because they had no options, the Blues. So they'll go to switch it now. Boyd takes the mark. He's been good since he started in this team this season. He now goes long inside the forward 50 to Mackay. Great work from Heppel to get back in front. Takes the mark. So now the Bombers want to switch. Heppel goes across the defensive 50 to Redmond. He goes to Hind. Just working it short at the moment, the Bombers. Perkins. Out to Menzies. They got a good draw. They got a good fixture, the Bombers, for the rest of the season. If they can take a couple of games, they're 50-50 games, and win all the winnable games, they will make the finals. So now Chera out to Young. Wiedering. Oh, that's a shocking kick from Wiedering. It was a 15-metre kick to Doherty, and he hit it straight over his head. Wiedering may not be the best kick in the competition, but any AFL player should be hitting that kick. So out of sight at the moment on the wing. DeConey and Draper. DeConey knocks it down. Coming through was Durham. He drives it towards the forward 50. Great mark from McGovern going back with the flight. So now McGovern goes in short, finds Doherty at half-back. Been okay so far. Been down on his usual standards this year, though. Doherty goes into a leading Silvani. He gives it straight back to him, though. Now the Blues want to go. Doherty kick inside was not the best, but he gets to Chera on the bounce. Chera goes inside the forward 50 and finds Jack Martin. Jack Martin. Hardly been in this team the whole year. Has been unsighted in the 22 for the AFL side. Came back tonight. Needs to make a statement. This was a big move when he moved out of the Gold Coast Suns. He was that adamant to get out of there that he went to the draft. Got picked up by the Blues. Hasn't really met any sort of standards that he had earlier in his career. But a chance here to get his first goal of the night. Jack Martin comes in, kicks towards goal, and he's missed it out to the right-hand side. Another behind for the Blues. God, that was a shit kick. So now Perkins, 30 out from the defensive goal. He plays on now, goes long towards the wing. 2-on-2 here, Langford gets played well from Akers, but gets to ground. Heppel to Guelphy. The handle from Guelphy was poor. Went on from Martin to get back. Tried to get it to McGovern. Eventually fumbled it towards Chera. Rebounds back to McGovern, and now Walsh. Drives it inside the forward 50. One-on-one is Mackay. He gets out the back. Looks like he'll get a free kick here. Harry Mackay. Zerk Thatcher was all over him there. And Harry Mackay will get the free kick in the not in the pocket, about a 40, 35 degree angle. He'll definitely take this around the body here as he likes to go left foot snaps from pretty much anywhere on the ground on that right hand side of the 50. Kicked 3 last week, but he also missed, I think, 3 other set shots. Mackay comes in, snaps around on goal. Well, it didn't even make the distance. It didn't. That's terrible from Harry Mackay. Severely out of form. And that's another behind for the Blues. That's crap football. Bad kicking is bad football. It basically rounds up Carlton's season at the moment. So Redmond goes in short from the kick into Laverde, who drives it long on the wing. Great kick. Finds Wiedemann on the lead. So now Wiedemann works inside to Heppel. Now the Bombers want to go. McGrath gives it straight off to Perkins. He's got a kick in short. It's Draper. Takes the mark. So now Draper got a couple of options in the open forward line. One in the pocket all on his own. He's Guelphy. Had to dive for it. Couldn't mark it. Wiedering gets at the handball to Akers. Over the top to Curnow. This is Ed Curnow. Breaks the tackler. Langford out the back is Merritt. Great defensive pressure from the Bombers. The bounce from McGrath was poor. Gets out the back. Redmond and Akers meet heavily. And now Ed Curnow. Great work here from the Blues. Kennedy inside the Cherry. He's got some space. Kick inside the forward 50 was absolutely terrible. Gets on the bounce to Owies though. From 50 metres out. Drives it towards goal. Martin in the goal square. Should get the free kick and does. Laverde gives that away the free kick. That was definitely there. Laverde was not looking at the football. And Jack Martin comes around the body. Snaps the goal. And Carlton get the first goal in the second quarter. Finally. They did it. They had to get it from the free kick in the top of the goal square. But finally Carlton get their second. So Carlton back in front. They've almost dominated the second term, the Blues. They've locked it in their forward half. They just haven't been able to convert. But finally, on the wing here, McGrath got a terrible bounce. Akers and Redmond met heavily. It got out the back to Charlie Curnow, and then the Blues were away. The long kick inside the forward 50 from Owies was actually a really good kick to Martin's advantage. Laverde gave away the free kick. And an easy-as-you-like goal from Jack Martin. First goal. So back in the middle, Draper knocks it forward, coming through his Hobbs, got a tap on it, but Kennedy was stronger over that ball. He gets it inside the forward 50 with a scrambling kick. Curnow almost marked it. Redmond dropped that, actually holding the ball. Blues go. Doherty to Martin, the kicking second. Jack Martin kicked a point. That's another terrible kick. He should have nailed that. Great pressure though from the Blues, and just getting it forward, not really having too much method in it. So now Essendon want to go on the outer side. Draper goes long to a one-on-one, but the kick was a shocking kick, and Wiedering easily cuts it off. So now Wiedering goes long to a leading Mackay. Couldn't take the mark in the hands. Motlop gives it off to his captain in Cripps. He kicks it inside the forward 50, but it goes out on the fall. So now Hind at halfback takes the mark. 64% of the ball inside their forward half, Carlton in the second term. They've almost dominated. But Essendon now just taking a little bit of sting out of this game at the moment. Ridley gives it off to Hind. Doesn't have too many options at the moment, Hind. So he's going to go long, and the kick was poor. Charlie Curnow cuts it off. Poor footy from the Bombers at the moment. It just couldn't get that run going. And Carlton cut off all the avenues out of their defensive 50. And not really a man you want to kick it to, Charlie Curnow. If they get him in form tonight, he could be massive. He's already kicked 3 behind, so he's definitely not his kicking boots on, but he's definitely had a touch of the footy. Turnover caused from the Bombers. Chance here for Charlie Curnow to kick his first. 45-degree angle. Should have done better. Kicks it through for a behind. 2 goals, 9 for Carlton at the moment. Ruining their chances at the moment. So now Hind goes long. Wiedering gets the spoil through there. Coming through as Wiedemann did well. Hobbs gets a high one. Should get the free kick and does. McGovern's still down on the ground here. He's been hit pretty heavily in that last contest. He gets up slowly. He's just up on his haunches at the moment. He's barely standing, Mitch McGovern. He could be in trouble. Ben Hobbs, meanwhile, has the free kick. He goes long to Phillips in a one-on-one. Got the hands up. What from Koenig to spoil it away. Akers gathers it. Doesn't have too many options. Now puts it on the boot. A high ball. Just on the forward side of the wing. Mackay completely missed it. We'll get a free kick though, Harry Mackay. So now Mackay goes in short to Kennedy. Working it inside now to Chincotta. The kick was poor. Sard got onto it though. Eventually gets it on the boot. Sard towards the Telstra logo on 50. Cottrell takes the mark. Then Cottrell goes into it leading Jack Martin, who's looking good so far at the moment. Didn't have a good first quarter, but he's already kicked 1 goal, 2 in this second one. He's looking a bit prolific in this game at the moment, Jack Martin. He already kicked 1. He's had an opportunity a couple of minutes ago to get his second. He should have kicked it, sprayed his lines. But now Jack Martin trying to kick his second here. And the Blues need this to show some dominance on the scoreboard. Hard kick though. Jack Martin comes in, sets it up to the top of the goal square. And it was to Motlop, which was weird. Cripps fumbled it to Owies, and it'll be another ball up. I don't know about that. That was a weird decision. To kick it to Motlop in a one-on-one on the top of the goal square. I don't know about that kick. So now Phillips knocks it down, coming through his Owies. Gets it on the boot. Good smother from Martin. That may have come off his boot. Don't think it did. It came off his knee. So there'll be another ball in here. Inside the Blues forward 50. Nick Martin being quiet in the second term. Had a 13 disposal first quarter. Yet to touch it in the second. Probably just haven't had that run in the second term, the Bombers at the moment. But back in the ruck. Silvani knocks it down, coming through his Heppel. Gets out the hands to Hobbs. Eventually gathers at Hobbs. Gets a high one. Ducked his head though. But then got a high one from Harry Mackay. So the Bombers get the free kick through Ben Hobbs. In the back pocket. He did duck his head there, Ben Hobbs. Probably shouldn't have got a free kick, but nonetheless, he goes long down the wing. Phillips is up there, right as well. None of them got to it. Wiedering just jams it on the boot inside the forward 50. Was touched. Up goes Mackay, couldn't mark. Redmond gets a terrible bounce. Heppel taps it to Redmond. He gets taken over the line. That should be a free kick. So Mason Redmond doesn't get a free kick. So Redmond just fell over, it seems, not being thrown to ground on the boundary line. So Harry Mackay gets a little bit away with that. But back in the ruck now. Phillips knocks it down, coming through with Doherty. Did well. Off to Kennedy. About 55 out from goal. Sets it up towards the middle of the 50. Martin went up, should have marked it. On the ground was Motlop. Gets tackled, dropped it, should be gone. It is. Play on to the call. Here go the Bombers. Martin finally gets his first touch to Caldwell. They've lost all their forward structure of the Bombers, so they're just going to have to work it a little bit slowly. They work it out wide to Wiedemann. Gives it off to Redmond, but he had nowhere to go. So he just goes in short, finds Snelling. So now Snelling in short. Good mark. Taken by Caldwell. So now Caldwell, 2 good kicks away from goal. He goes out wider, finds Wiedemann. He's been a little bit busier in the second term. And Wiedemann goes inside the forward 50. Up goes Nick Martin. He's suddenly lifted. So Nick Martin takes the mark inside the forward 50. Was quiet early in this second term, but suddenly sprung to life with a couple of important touches there. And a chance here to kick the Bombers in front after a really pretty poor start to this second term. Mackay wants some beef after many disappointments earlier. Hasn't really done much still anyway, has he? But Nick Martin now, about 40 metres out. Not much angle to speak of. Comes in. Umpire shuffles to the left. And it goes through for a behind. No team can score a goal in the second term. We've only seen one. And it was Jack Martin at the top of the goal square. So Boyd will take the kick in here for the Blues. He goes in short. He finds Young. Boyd calling for it. Gets the handball receive. And he goes long down the wing to a one-on-one. Up goes Phillips and Cripps. Free kick's been pulled out here for the Blues. Docky almost played on, but Mackay will get the free kick. Getting into it a little bit at the moment, Harry Mackay. He's got Ed Curnow in short, decides not to go there, and he's just going to drive it long towards the forward 50. Silvani in front, well done from Laverde. Charlie Curnow did nicely to gather it. Handballs it inside to Cripps. He steps past Phillips. The kick inside somehow nearly got to Silvani. Merritt dropped that. Play on though. Laverde to Hobbs. Out to Heppel, and here go the Bombers. They got a chance here. Kicks it long down the wing. Great cut-off mark there from Young. So now Young on centre wing at the moment. Looks like they're going to switch the play here, the Blues. So it goes right back to Kemp. Kemp goes inside. Just finds Ed Curnow. Curnow's got an option right in the middle of the MCG. He finds Chincotta. Chincotta did a full 360 to look for someone. No options. So instead he goes out wide to Chera. Chera plays on now. He's got an option inside. It's a terrible kick. Doherty on the bounce. Gives it off to Walsh, who fumbles though. Back to Doherty, who gets tackled by 2 Bombers. There'll be another ball up. That was a terrible play there from the Blues. Chera's kick was woeful. Walsh fumbles. Ugh. I may be bagging on a bit about Carlton, but they've been very disappointing. They've been good, but they should be doing better at the moment. Chera works it out wide to Cripps. Cripps in short. Not a very good kick. Hind cuts it off. Good spoil away. Runs onto it, but eventually just takes it over the line. So, about 80 out from a Carlton goal on the outer side. Lead by 4 points, but they should be way further in front with 9 behinds in this game so far. Charlie Curnow with 4 behinds himself, no goals. So Phillips takes it out of the ruck, then gets dragged down by Silvani. Head bounced off the ground there, Phillips, but he's fine. Merritt and Curnow both have a bit of a tussle. Merritt's been shut down pretty well so far in this game by the Blues. Back in the ruck. Silvani knocks it forward. Caldwell, in fact it was Martin, handled it at the back. Heppel couldn't gather it. Cripps, that was almost a throw. Walsh wanted a handball option, gave it to Akers. Akers breaks back inside, eventually puts it on the boot. That's a terrible kick. Oh, I dropped the mark, Snelling. That was poor, and then fumbled it. Gave it off to Curnow. What is Snelling doing? Long high kick, but Ridley's sitting back, and he takes the mark to relieve some pressure here for the Bombers. Goes out wide, finds Peter Wright, had to come up the ground. Kicked the goal early, Peter Wright, but since then been pretty quiet. Coming back from a shoulder reconstruction. He plays on now, Peter Wright. Goes long. He's got Phillips there. Brings it up. Went on there from Wiedering to bring it to ground. Guelphy gives off to Durham. Durham out the back. Here go the Bombers. Martin off to Menzies. Takes a bounce. He's got an open goal square. He decides to get off the handball. Wiedemann kicks towards goal. That was a terrible kick. And it's through for a behind. Neither team can kick a goal at the moment. After a blistering first term, this one's been pretty sluggish, not to say that much was done on the scoreboard in the first term either. So Boyd goes in short to Wiedering. Wiedering works it inside. He finds Cottrell. So just over 6 minutes to go in the second term. Doesn't really have any chance to switch at Cottrell, so he's just going to go down the line to a 2-on-1. Mackay put the fist up to get it away from a Essendon opponent. Walsh gathers it, gives it off to Kennedy, and he drives it long inside the forward 52, a 1-on-1. Great work from Owies to get in front, cause the contest. Now Merritt and Snelling gets taken high. And Essendon will get the free kick here. Will Snelling in the defensive 50. Put the shoulder down. They've got a few of those free kicks tonight, the Bombers. Blues just, again, had no forward structure going forward. They were going long to a 1-on-1 with Owies. But now goes long as Snelling. Phillips put his hands up. Should have marked it. Eventually gets out to Chera, to Sard. Great smother there from Durham, but Sard gets it back. Gives it back to Walsh. Walsh goes inside. They didn't talk there, the Blues teammates, but they get a free kick. Got lucky there, the Blues, because the Bombers were away. But Cripps gets the free kick. He plays on. Gives off the handball to Boyd, who goes long to a 1-on-1. Mackay nearly dragged in with the one hand. Zev Thatcher gives it off to McGrath. He kicks it out of the defensive 50. Cripps got up. Did well to cause a contest. Cottrell tackled well from Merritt. That was brilliant from Zach Merritt. He's shown a lot of those defensive attributes this season. And that was a brilliant tackle. You may give him a little bit of a reprieve so far because he's been locked down well by Ed Curnow. But when he saw a chance to tackle, he laid it brilliantly. So now Zach Merritt works it inside to a 2-on-1. Heppel and De Koning. De Koning did well. Now Chera sprints away from Perkins. Kick inside the forward 50. Just over the top of Harry Mackay. But he gets a free kick. Zerk Thatcher gives away the free kick. Harry Mackay a chance here. The kick is first. So Harry Mackay comes in. Shouldn't have too many troubles here, but we have said that this year. Mackay comes in. That's a better kick. And the Blues finally get a second goal of the second term. That's a better kick from Harry Mackay. Looks relaxed when he kicked that ball. He's looked very tentative tonight. But a great finish there from Mackay. Carlton get their third. Currently at the moment, leading disposal getter on the ground is Nick Martin with a 17. Been a bit quieter in this second term, but he's been good. Probably best on the ground at this stage. Chera with 16, Ridley with a 13, Perkins and Heppel with a 12 are the top 5 disposal getters on the ground. And all single goal kickers at the moment, Peter Wright, Harry Mackay, Jack Martin, Kyle Langford and Alex Chin Cotter. Michael Voss loved it too on the bench. So the Blues lead by 9 points at the moment. They should be up by a lot more, but now they finally get a goal to show on the scoreboard. De Koning knocks it forward. Well done there from Perkins to knock it back like volley ball style. Guelphy coming through, gives the handball back to Merritt. Merritt, that was a smart kick out wide. Just gets to Stringer. Stringer with the handball over the top. Here go the Bombers. They string a couple of handballs together. Over the top, Menzies. Gives it to Phillips. Don't know about that option. But he goes inside. Phillips. Great kick! Maybe they should give it to Andrew Phillips more often. That was a great kick going inside and finds Will Snelling 25, 30 metres out. Not much of an angle to speak of. And a chance here for the Bombers to get a quick reply. Didn't know about that handball from Menzies. I didn't know it was Andrew Phillips in the pocket. But great option there from Andrew Phillips. And Snelling had the 7 touches so far. He's been pretty prolific so far for a small forward. Will Snelling comes in. Kicks towards goal. It fades back. Just enough. And the Bombers get their third. Good finish from Will Snelling. Bombers back to within 3 points. Good finish there for the Bombers. Back to within 3 points. Being dominated at times in the second term, but they get a good goal there. Get themselves right back in it. It was great handball work there from the Bombers just to get out of the stoppage. Just get it forward, surge it forward through handball. And then Will Snelling takes the mark, converts as well. Back in the ruck. Bounce was terrible. Be very called by the umpire. 3.5 minutes to go. De Koning's actually done pretty well tonight. He's been questioned this season, but he's played pretty well against the Draper-Phillips combo. Phillips tries to get the clearance. The kick off the King Cotter, but it wasn't paid 15. Cripps to De Koning, and now Kennedy kicks it inside the forward 50. Not the best kick. Zerk Thatcher read it first, and it'll be a mark. Zerk Thatcher quickly accidentally played on, so it goes in short to Hobbs, who gets up and down the ground pretty well, Ben Hobbs. This is for his 12th disposal of the game so far. Hobbs drills it in short, finds Nick Martin. This is for his 18th. The kick inside from Martin is brilliant, laser-like. Found Menzies. Menzies wants to give it. Gives it to the runner in Hind. Hind goes long to a one-on-one. It's 2 metre Peter. Should get the free kick, and he does. Young was not looking at that football, and Peter Wright takes the mark 48, 49 metres out, just outside the forward 50. So he'll have to kick it from about 52, 53 metres here, Peter Wright. But he's a pretty big kick. That was great work from the Bombers. And to take an unlikely lead, Peter Wright has the chance. First game of 2023. He's had 1 goal so far. Only had the 2 touches. This will be his 3rd touch of the game. For the Bombers, He comes in, Peter Wright. That is beautiful, Peter Wright. Great goal for the Bombers, and they take the lead back. Great finish from Peter Wright. No problem with that routine going for goal. Not looking too rusty, Big Peter. And a great finish from outside 50. So just over 2 minutes to go in this first half. Blues have dominated this second term, but they have not converted on the scoreboard, as you can see. And it's just a great transition of play there from the Bombers. Martin went inside, found Menzies, immediately gave the handball to Hind. Made Hind, make the decision himself. He went long with a great kick to Peter Wright, who had better positioning. Got the free kick, nailed the goal. Bombers lead by 3. Back in the ruck, coming through was Perkins. Couldn't leave it, left it behind. Chera got the free kick, and then Stringer dove to ground. Jake Stringer was up pretty quick there. I'll have to look at that one again. That could have been a huge dive. Nonetheless, Stringer goes out wide, finds Mason Redmond. Redmond puts it on the boot, kicks it long inside the forward 50. Well done there from Wiedering to get in front, takes the mark. So Wiedering in the defensive pocket has the short lead in Walsh. That wasn't 15, calls play on. So now Walsh goes long to Curnow in a one-on-one, got the hands up. Gets a free kick for his troubles there, Charlie Curnow. Well, show us the replay. Show us the replay of Jake Stringer getting hit. Or not hit, or I don't know. We won't even get to see it. But nonetheless, Charlie Curnow out of wing. Defensive side, he drives it long. Towards Mackay. Gets his hand up, almost marked it. Martin on the ground, gives it out the back. Chera to Cottrell. He's going to get dragged down from Merrick. Got the handball away, but it was ill-directed. So now the Bombers can go. Redmond over the top to Laverde. Handballs it back. Merrick got immediately taken down, and now the Blues cause the turnover. Curnow out to McGovern, and Walsh handballs it inside to Chincotta. Could go for a bit of a run. Steps past Menzies, and then gave it to Kemp, who left it behind. Dragged it in there. Could be in trouble here. Gives him a reprieve there, the umpire. Be a ball up in the middle of the ground. 40 seconds to go. The Blues would love one going into half-time. Don't want to concede one, though. Draper thumps it forward. Chera grabs it, though. Gives the handball off to Kemp. Usually a pretty good ball user. Good find. He finds Jack Martin. Immediately gives off the handball to Doherty. Goes inside the forward 50. Owies calls the contest. Mackay gives it off to Owies. Missed him, though. Gives it back to Doherty. Doherty, big chance late in the second term with a bounce. Rolls through for another behind for the Blues. 10 behinds for the Blues in this first half. The Bombers have it in the defensive pocket at the moment. Won't be long before the siren goes. 8 seconds. Ridley takes the mark. I think the Bombers will be happy to take a lead into half-time. Siren goes. So at half-time, the Bombers take a surprising lead. As you can see on the scoreboard, the Blues wasted so many opportunities in the first half. But nonetheless, at half-time, the Bombers lead 4-6-30 to the Blues 3-10-28. So I'll quickly just change the scores up now, guys, and then we'll move to half-time. Alright guys, so at half time, leading disposal getter on the ground is Adam Chera. Been one of the better players for the Blues, but he does get a lot of those easy, non-useful touches. Nick Martin, who's been the best player in the game so far, has had 18. He's been brilliant. Ridley with the 13, Doherty with the 13, and then rounding up the top 5 is Sam Walsh with the 12. And then for the AFL fantasy watchers out there, we have Nick Martin with the 70, Hobbs with the 30, with the 58, Ridley with the 53, Perkins with the 50, along with Adam Chera rounding out the top 5. Alright guys, be about a 15-minute break. We'll be back in about 15 minutes with the second half of this one. Currently, Bombers lead it by 2.
G'day guys, and welcome to the Boundary Riders podcast. We're up to a new episode now. We just completed our first round of the buys with round 12. We saw the Richmond Tigers finally win a close one. Essendon only just scraped home against North Melbourne. And the Gold Coast actually pushing for maybe the finals for the first time in their lifespan. But we've got our co-host today, Jack, or Jackpot Junkies over on Instagram. How did you think the round went?
Oh, it was a very interesting one, wasn't it?
Yeah, a lot of close games, a lot of...
I think you did see a big push of who's in finals contention and who isn't, and the log jam in the middle.
Yeah, I think the Crows losing that game against the Gold Coast is huge for them because we'll talk more about that a little bit later, but that's going to be huge going into late in the season, I believe, because a lot of those teams are going to be right in the middle now. There's about 6-7 teams fighting for those final 2 or 3 spots in the 8.
Yeah, I think the top 6 are pretty much set. It's probably just going to be 7 and 8 like it normally is.
Yeah.
They're going to fight for it.
Yeah, but one of the big stories that came out of the weekend was Collingwood versus West Coast. Now, you wouldn't think that would be a big game. And to be honest, despite West Coast playing okay for about 2.5 quarters, Collingwood eventually outstrengthened them and flogged them by 60 points. So I'm not going to give I did say on Instagram, I gave them a gallant performance, but thinking about it now, I mean, it's somewhat gallant performance by the Eagles because they were, close for about 2.5 quarters or whatever, but to lose by 60 points against anyone is not a scenario any team should want to be in, and they're in a really low spot. Now, one of the big things to come out of it was the fact that Jordan De Goey hit Elijah Hewitt in the head and got sent straight to the tribunal. Now, what happened was none of the Eagles players remonstrated with Jordan De Goey to fly the flag or anything for Elijah Hewitt, young guy, 18 years old, didn't want to even put an effort in. And don't give me the excuse that they didn't see it, because if you're not, that was on the ball, or pretty much on the ball, someone should have seen that and gone over and flown the flag for their mate. That was pathetic. But nonetheless, Dom Sheed after the match came out and said something, and I just want to quickly play that now for you, so in case you missed it.
I heard it was pretty bad and the boys probably didn't respond the way that we should have when that happened. But yeah, I think, watching it back now, I think he deserves a good month or 2 on the sidelines.
So that's what Dom Sheed said about Jordan De Goey. And for some reason, the West Coast Eagles came out on Twitter, I believe, and apologised for that. Weak as piss, West Coast. Weak as piss. I don't care if Collingwood supporters in John, who's 40 years old and hates his kids, is fucking complaining on Facebook about you. About Dom Sheed's comments. That is weak as piss from the West Coast Eagles. Why would you apologise for that?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense, does it? It's really pathetic.
It's pathetic. This club is in a fucking terrible spot. This club used to be one of the biggest clubs in the AFL, and then now they can't even stand up for one of their teammates. I'm not blaming the social media guy for putting out that post. I'm blaming whoever told him that they should apologise for that. Who cares if you got 100 comments on Facebook or Twitter or whatever saying that's bullshit or that's uncalled for from Collingwood. From West Coast about Collingwood. That's crap. That is crap. Yeah. They can sit there and have a fucking... I thought of this just recently. Collingwood supporters are more than happy to have a whinge about fucking... they're all more than happy to stand up for Eddie Maguire way back in the day about Adam Goods stuff, when he made some pretty racial comments about Adam Goods in the past.
Yeah.
But they can't take Dom Sheed saying, Jordan De Goey probably deserved a month or 2 on the sidelines for that. Grow up! That is pathetic.
Yeah, they are the biggest sooks in the AFL, Collingwood. And because they're the big team in Melbourne, the AFL coped... pretty much begged down to him. I don't know
That
why.
is pathetic.
It's happened for years, and
If you're a Collingwood supporter and you sat there and had a go at Dom Sheed for saying something that was fucking not much at all,
you should really look at yourselves in the
get
mirror,
over
really.
yourself. That is fucking nothing.
Yeah.
That was weak as piss. And then for West Coast to think that they needed to apologise for that was pathetic. I actually saw that on a clip on Footy Classified because I'm not watching the whole fucking episode. Fuck that. But not that Footy Classified's any like good thing to watch at the moment. They had Caroline Wilson last week come out and say something about Paddy Cripps, which is an outright lie. But whatever. But that's where I found that clip. I was looking everywhere because I saw it on Twitter. West Coast Eagles tweet out that they're sorry, and I'm like, I remember that Dom Sheed bit. I heard it earlier. I'm like, well, that couldn't be it. So it's got to be something else. What did they say? Like, did they put out a social media saying something like Jordan DeGoey is a alleged woman abuser, which allegedly he is. I mean, he's faced it. He's had to face these sort of reprimands from the club. But whatever. No, it was for that. That is weak as piss from West Coast. Grow a pair from both clubs. Like, I don't think there was. I don't know. It's a bit soft from Jordan DeGoey to go and hit an 18-year-old. It's not as bad as when Andrew Gaff hit Andrew Brayshaw behind the ball.
Yeah.
That was fucked. He should have been. He could have. Honestly, that happens in the. That's a story for another day. We're not going to get into that. But weak as piss from the West Coast Eagles. And for any Collingwood people out there who thought that Dom Sheed went too far by saying that, were you the one who was standing up for Eddie Maguire when he was saying all that kind of shit 6 years ago?
Yeah.
Get fucked.
Yeah. It's pretty much look in the mirror, really.
Look in the mirror. Shut your hole.
Yeah.
Dom Sheed said fucking nothing. That was a nothing sandwich, that comment. Obviously, he deserves a month on the sidelines, Jordan DeGoey, for hitting someone behind the play like that. But anyway, what I wanted to actually talk about at the start of this episode was the fact that last week we had the mid-season draft. And we had a bunch of new players come into the game from state clubs and stuff. And when this happens every single year, the question always gets asked if the AFL should have a mid-season trade period. I wanted to get your thoughts on that. Do you believe the AFL should have a trade period in the mid-season?
No.
No?
No.
I actually agree with you. I don't think they should because it would make the bottom clubs suffer more and the top clubs prosper more.
Yeah.
I think that'd be shit. I don't think that should be a good idea. I think what could be a good idea, though, is how in soccer they get loan players.
Mm.
So maybe not so much. Maybe if you've only played, like, to this point in the season, you've played 2 games. Maybe you can get loaned out to another team, or you can grab a player from the state league.
Yeah.
And like, for example, like the Sydney Swans right now, they've got a lot of injuries, or Geelong, or West Coast, or any sort of team like that. Maybe they could go into like a for example, Paddy Dow's played 1 game for Carlton this year, and it was last week.
Yeah.
At the moment, a club could really use Paddy Dow as a loan player. Do you think that would be a decent idea?
Yeah, I think, like you say, the trade period I don't think would work because, like you just said, but a loanee, sort of a 6 month, well, for the rest of the season, help another team out, might be a good idea.
We even saw it during COVID. What was it, last year or the year before? No, I think it was last year. Whenever it was,
The first
players
the
could
second
take
year, the 2022 season.
players had access. Players had access to like state league players.
Yeah.
Like we saw West Coast just a couple. I think Declan Mountford played for Claremont or something. I'm not 100% on the waffle at the moment, but yeah, I mean he got picked up. I think that was pretty good. Yeah, I think that would just be a good idea. Like I actually like the mid-season draft. I think it's a really good idea. It's not so good for the state league teams in a way.
Only they do get I think it's like a $10,000 bonus or something like
Compensation.
Compensation, but it's only money. They lose a good player that, let's be honest, could win a premiership there, then they would at
But let's be
AFL
honest, they're
club,
not. Let's be honest,
they won't care.
If you're a state league player and you get told by an AFL club, we want to pick you up, you're going.
Yeah.
You're going, and it's unfortunate. And basically, most of the players that are playing in the state league are looking to maybe get their dream of moving into the AFL, especially the younger ones. I think it's an overall great idea, but I think a loan idea could work. I think it would be a great idea, especially if you've played 2 games in the main team this season. You can get loaned out.
Yeah,
I mean, even if you could, even if a club wanted to, let's say, this is obviously hypothetical, but Ash Johnson for Collingwood, for example, if Collingwood were willing to give him up on a loan to a Carlton or something, that's completely hypothetical. That's obviously stupid. But I mean, if the Collingwood wanted to do that, they could. But I'm saying, like, for Carlton, for example, if they were thinking they could still use Paddy Dow, I'm using him as an example because he's been talked about a lot lately. You know, they're thinking maybe, he can come on in a year or so, but we want to get him some AFL game time. Let's send him to the West Coast Eagles. Give him 6 months there. Give him a bit of, experience in the AFL system instead of playing VFL, because it is a step below.
Yeah.
So I think that'd actually be a pretty decent idea. But I 100% say no to a trade period, because we've already seen free agency give these top teams a much.
Yeah, I think free agency just. The top teams are getting better and the lower teams are getting worse. And as we see with the bottom three, really, Hawthorn, North Melbourne and West Coast. So
I mean, North Melbourne's a prime example. They can't pick up anyone. They've thrown $1 million at Dustin Martin, Josh Kelly, and they throw it at fucking Jared Pollock, and that turned out to be shit. They've overpaid for shit.
Then they did it again with Aiden Core, so it's really... It seems like they don't know what they're doing, but...
Yeah, I mean, if you can't attract a big player, then, you have to go for the lower ones. But nonetheless, that was really the only thing I wanted to talk about to start off this episode. So I guess we'll get into the weekly votes. Now, of course, this week we had the bye rounds. Brisbane, Fremantle, St Kilda and Sydney all had byes. So this week is Geelong and the Gold Coast Suns. But let's get into the first game of the round, which was Demons versus Carlton. Now, I was watching this live on stream. You were probably at work, I think.
Yeah, so I didn't get to watch this thriller.
You got lucky, because this game is freaking miserable. It was a miserable game of footy. I said it a couple of times when I was live streaming. I was saying, this game sucks. The first half was fucking dreadful. Both teams couldn't kick, and that's saying something. Melbourne are usually pretty good ball users. They were crap in this game. Every single player was misusing the ball, and I was just saying it's crap. This is crap football. And, I mean, the scoreline was 8-13 to Melbourne, and Carlton got fucking 6 goals, 8. Harry Mackay did kick 3 goals, so I don't think he's back in form by any means, because he set shot goal kicking. He missed every single one. Well, he missed all, normal set shots. He even took a snapshot from about 40 metres out on a 40-odd degree angle. It wasn't a snap. It shouldn't have been taking a snap or whatever. That's not even just a traditionalist out there. You should be kicking that straight. It's just an easier... He was too far out, and he didn't make the distance.
Yeah.
So, I don't think he's back in form. Nonetheless, Melbourne won this game by 17 points. I think they're actually in a bit of a hole. They don't have a forward line to kick to. They were lucky they were playing Carlton, because they looked pretty miserable in this game. Bailey Fritsch struggled to kick a goal in the first half. He kicked a couple of points. He didn't kick straight. Usually he's a pretty straight goal kicker, so that's one of the big things about him. But in this game, he's kind of off in the first... I think it was the first half, so he could have really had a big night, but... One person that stood out most of the game was Christian Petrarca. He got the 3 votes. 2 votes I gave to Ed Langdon. He played brilliantly off the wing, and if him or a Lockie Hunter don't get the wing spot in the All-Australian team and they give it to some inside midfielder like they do every year, the All-Australians are farce, because it's supposed to be the best team of the year.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be the best. It's not supposed to be just the best players that you just cram in there.
Yeah. Exactly.
I'm sorry, but it's supposed to be like a team. And if you're not adding an actual wingman, which I think is very important these days, some of the best wingmen in the competition are from some of the best teams. So that's just me. But anyway, and the one vote I gave to Max Gawn. Now, Max Gawn, to about halfway through the third quarter, he was having a pretty average game. But in the last quarter and a bit, he really stood up and got Melbourne home. So I gave him the one vote.
Yeah. Are you surprised that... Do you think Melbourne are better off the way they're going off at the moment than they were last season when they were 10-0?
No.
No?
No. They don't have a forward line to go to.
Yeah, but that was their problem last year, though, without Tom McDonald. But now he's fit, but he's not in the team. Is that...
I mean, they got Ben Brown. They got...
he's in the twos.
They got Ben Brown and Tom McDonald. They traded away Sam Wiedemann, who's playing... He's not playing the best at Essendon, but he's getting a role every week, and he's playing his role.
Yeah.
So they still don't have a forward line. They're kicking to Van Rooyen, who's a first-year player. And don't get me wrong, he's playing quite well as a first-year player. But now they've chucked Joel Smith in there, who's been a defender in his career.
What now? They did Joel Smith. They did Harry Petty earlier in the year.
Harrison Petty.
Yeah, it seems like they have too much in defence, but they think they're too good 22, and they chuck them forward. It's just like, I don't get it. They just
Yeah, I think that maybe Melbourne in the office. I don't think they can win the flag at the moment. I think they've kind of fallen off a bit. Maybe
they've
they'll
had
come
an
back in
easy
the
run.
season.
They have had an easy run of fixtures at the
At the moment.
So.
We'll see how they go throughout the rest of the season. They'll probably make top 4 because they usually win their games in the MCG. They usually have pretty easy teams there. They should be able to make it, and I think they'll be fine. They'll make top 4. I think it's similar to last year how they fell off. I think when they come up against the hard teams, they'll struggle.
Yeah.
I just don't think Melbourne are up there at the moment. I think the premiership favourites at the moment are Collingwood, Port Adelaide, Brisbane, and that's probably about it. I think there's a pretty big gap between those 3 teams and the rest of the competition at the moment, to be honest. And even Brisbane, I mean, we saw them against the Crows. They weren't that good.
Yeah, I think, like you've always said, this season, that it's still their defence is still the problem.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, Jack Payne back there, he's played pretty well this year, and I think he's definitely added something, but it's still a little bit too one
Still a mystery,
speed
I think.
in their midfield as well. So, I don't know. I think Brisbane are there. I think Port Adelaide are probably the closest to Collingwood at the moment.
Yeah, I think it's a Collingwood, Gap, Port Adelaide, Gap, Brisbane,
And then the rest of the competition. Yeah, I think that's probably about right at the moment. But anyway, speaking of Port Adelaide, that's the next game we're going to take a look at. Port Adelaide won this game in the first half.
First quarter.
They won this in the first quarter. This game was over at quarter time. Hawthorn stood up really well last week and beat St Kilda, but obviously the loss of James Sicily was going to be huge, and it stood out in this game. They couldn't defend, and Luke Bruce kicked his 500th goal. That's good to see in his career. But Hawthorn, the second quarter, the second half doesn't matter. They caught back in this game. This game was over by half time. Port Adelaide put the brakes on. They were like, "We got this win. Let's just not go out with injuries."
I think there's 2 reasons for this one. Port Adelaide, if they got to a 100-point lead, I think they would have run away with it. I think that once they kept around 90 points for about 15 minutes during the third quarter, and then Hawthorn started to roll them. And it didn't matter, obviously, because it was 90 points and they weren't going to win.
Yes,
and
Port Adelaide were
we'll just put the good players on ice. We'll wait for next week against the Dogs, and
because that's an important game next week. The game against Hawthorn, we got by 90 points at half time.
You don't want to lose any more injuries, which I think they got away with it without injuries. So that was pretty much their thing.
That was their job.
Maybe a bit
to do, really.
Probably the worst thing for Port Adelaide is that they did lose a lot of percentage because of that disappointing second half. But
I think
there's going to be other opportunities to get some percentage in some of the games anyway.
Yeah. So, with the 3 votes I gave to Jeremy Finlayson, he got 5 goals. He was brilliant in this game, especially in the first half when the game was there to be somewhat be won. I mean, the game was already over. I mean, he kicked, I think, 4 goals to quarter time.
He kicked 4 goals in the first quarter, so
he was brilliant.
Done and dusted then.
He's got a couple of 3-vote games this year. He's played really well. I mean, against Sydney, he was the match winner.
Yeah, since the Sydney game, he's played pretty well.
Yeah. 2 votes was definitely a hard one. It was a toss-up between Zach Butters, Todd Marshall, and Connor Rozee. I did give it to Connor Rozee because he also had the 13 inside 50s. He was getting it in there. Yeah. That's a very underrated stat, in my opinion. Getting the ball inside 50 for your team, because basically he's a midfielder. He's getting it in there from the clearances. All right, guys, we're back for the second half. Both teams are getting back to position now. Been a good first half, a little bit sloppy at times. So, third quarter is about to begin. Umpire thumbs it down in the third quarter has begun. Coming through there was Taconi, couldn't get it there. But only the Bombers, they'll get the first clearance through Caldwell. Jams it on the boot, higher ball towards Wiedemann, good spoil from behind. Martin gives it off to Langford, out wide to Snelling. Could get his second, has an option in short, great find. And Zach Merritt, the captain, a chance here to kick an early one for the Bombers. Has been great this year, trying to shake the tag, just worked forward there. And he probably won't have the 30 touches tonight, but he can still have an influence in this game. Zach Merritt, almost an unselfish year, snaps around the body. Zach Merritt, great finish for the Bombers. Great starts of the second half. And a bit of a fracas working on here. So the Bombers take an early lead in the third quarter, courtesy of Zach Merritt, who looks like he's playing a little bit more forward in the second half now, trying to shake the tag.
from Ed Kerner, who was brilliant in the first half. Only let Zach Merritt have 8 touches, but his first touch in the third quarter is a goal. Great finish from Merritt. He just worked forward here, got away from Ed Kerno. It was an easy little chip kick there from Snelling. Great to get his captain into the game here. And a great finish from Zach Merritt. So back in the middle. Draper gets the knockdown. Stringer did well to get the hands free. Even to Perkins and now Caldwell. Gets the handball out wide. Now Durham goes long to a one-on-one, right, got his hands up, couldn't get it. Now Merritt working hard on the ground, Wiedemann, good pick up, but then eventually fumbles it out to McGovern. Walsh, out to Chera, nearly broke the tackle, but then got tackled once again from Caldwell, and it'll be another ball up. DeConey knocks it down, Cripps gets a little tap through to Chera. Chera had time to get rid of it, eventually got rid of it. Umpire's about to blow the whistle, but now Stringer from the 50 goes for goal. Just misses Jake Stringer. Been a little bit quiet tonight, Jake Stringer. Chance there, bit of a hard one, but he is up for those sort of challenges. Just missed that one though. Essendon have blitzed onto the scene in this third quarter. Carlton have hardly touched it. McGovern now goes long to a 2-on-2. Cripps got the hands up there. Couldn't bring it down, though. Now Durham, usually a great ball user. Kick inside was pretty poor, though. Cincotta got a fist to it. Stringer breaks past one. On the left boot, Jake Stringer goes towards goal. The bounce towards the pocket. Boyd happy to see it out of bounds. So in the forward pocket here for the Bombers. Started this third quarter like a house on fire. Umpire lobs it in. Wright and Young got it down. Stringer fumbled it twice though, was crucial. Then Cincotta left it behind. Stringer was clean there. Gave out the handball. Caldwell nearly break past Sard. Great tackle from Sard. Still got it out though. Guelphy gets it out to Martin. He would love another. Oh, he's been held here, Nick. Martin, no, it was Guelphy who got held. And Boyd's given away a crucial free kick in front of goal here for the Blues. Nick Martin actually tripped over. It was here. Boyd had him. Brought him to ground. Let him go. He was unlucky. That's not a free kick. He let him go. That was a poor decision from the umpire. Really poor decision. But now Matt Welfie hasn't been in this side a lot this season, but got himself into the side in the past few weeks. A chance here to kick the Bombers second in a row of the third quarter. Not much angle to speak of. Matt Welfie stabs it a little, but he nails the goal, and the Bombers get another. Blues in trouble. Unlucky free kick against Boyd there. Didn't do much to give away that. I don't even think the Bombers knew what that was for until they looked down at Guelphy and he was on the ground. But the umpire called the free. Guelphy took the opportunity. Bombers lead by 15. God, that's a shocking free kick though. Stringers came on in this third quarter. Started off very well. Already had a couple of shots at goal. Has missed though. Back in the middle now. Draper knocks it down. Stringer coming through once again. Was held there from Kerno. Well, good tackle there from DeConing, but he held too long. Here go the Bombers. Hobbs to Perkins. Kicks it inside the forward 50. 1-on-1 is Guelphy. He's looking good now. Oh, he's giving away the free kick. Oh, I don't know about that, but nonetheless, maybe a little evener upper. Sard goes in short. Coming through is Walsh. Just got the hands free. Now they're working forward here, the Blues. Walsh to Cincotta. Breaks past Stringer. Did well there, the young man. Cincotta kicks it inside the forward 50. Great cut-off mark from Ridley. Kicks it in short to Guelphy. He's getting into this game at the moment. Been involved in the past few minutes. He plays on and goes long. To a one-on-one. Leading up was Wiedemann. Got the hands up. Couldn't mark it. Hobbs read it well. Gives that to handball to Merritt. He's been big. Goes long into the pocket to the free man in Peter Wright. Gotta love watching Zach Merritt this season. Unselfish football. Great find to find Peter Wright in the pocket. All on his own. Just got out the back. And a chance here for the Bombers to get 3 quick ones early in this third term. Not the easiest kick here for Peter Wright on his left boot. But he makes it look so easy, Peter Wright. 3 in a row to the Bombers. He's got 3 on return. He's looked good today here, Peter Wright. Seems like he hasn't missed a moment. He's looking dangerous. And he could be really big late in the season for the Bombers. Michael Voss looking for some answers. They've got a lethal duo up forward in Wiedemann and Wright. Wiedemann doesn't mind going up the ground a bit. Wright can take marks in a one-on-one inside the goal square. Wiedemann caused the contest there. He was involved. He did well. And then Merritt, always a great ball user. Always has been. Always will be. And it was a great kick to Wright, who nailed the goal. They've blitzed this third term, the Bombers. They started this first half pretty poor. Carlton couldn't take their opportunities. Bombers are in a big lead now. In the ruck, Phillips knocks it down. Taconey picks it up, drives it forward. Couldn't mark it. There was McGrath. Redmond to Snelling. Handles it over the top. Cripps read it well. Hasn't gathered it though. Did well in the end to Walsh. Now the Blues can finally get it forward, but Kennedy decides to go wide. Goes sideways to Akers. So now Akers drives it long to a one-on-one. It's Owies. Don't know about that option. From behind, the Bombers get it clear. Martin got Durham on his left riding shotgun. Gives it to him. Durham handles it forward. Finds Perkins, and now the Bombers can go through Martin. Over the top to Hobbs. He almost stumbles, just kept his feet, but then dragged down. That's holding the football. Well done there from Saad. Dragged him down. That's holding the footy. Oh no, they've paid high. That's a shocking decision. He dropped his knees, Ben Hobbs. That should have been holding the ball. Nonetheless, he kicks it long. Pushed out there was Phillips. He'll get the free. That was probably there. Blues not getting the run over the green at the moment. That was a shocking decision in the middle of the ground. But that one from De Koning was there. Chance here for Phillips to get his first. Been pretty good this year. Andrew Phillips from about 25 metres out. Kicks towards goal. High and through. The Bombers get another 4 in a row in this third quarter. The Blues are in some deep trouble now. The Blues just don't have no answers at the moment. That was rough for the umpiring decision in the middle of the ground. He ducked down there, Hobbs, and got a high one. They haven't been paying them this year. There's 4 umpires out there. They can communicate with each other. That was just a poor decision. Not good enough. We've seen a couple of shocking umpiring decisions this week. That was one of them. I think that was more of a free kick. I think Taconey put his hands up there and pushed him forward. But maybe that wasn't. Maybe you put a little bit of mayo on it. Maybe. In the ruck, though, Taconey knocks it down. Coming through was Durham. Tackled well from Cripps, then slung. Be a ball up. The Blues need a little bit of a settler right now. They've hardly moved it forward in this third term. Bombers have dominated. Durham gets a little tap onto Merritt. Merritt to Perkins. They work it out back to Hobbs. Hobbs goes in short, finds Durham, who kept going. Came in as a mid-season draftee a couple of years ago, Durham, and he's been brilliant. Goes long to a 2-on-2 to Koning. Probably knocked it out of the hands of Young. Langford over to Wright. Just got smothered there. Tackles Walsh. Eventually plays on, and it looks like a free kick will be pulled out for Walsh. The Blues need to settle it down here. There hasn't even been 7.5 minutes of playing time in this third term. And if the Bombers get another, this game could be blown way out in this third term. Doherty goes down the middle. That's dangerous kick. Neither player touched it from Hine and Kennedy. Gets out to Owies. Owies spins out of trouble and goes long to a one-on-one. The kick to Mackay was poor. Heppel gives it off to Hind. The Bombers are clear. So good in some tough situations, the Bombers tonight, especially in traffic. He found Menzie a defensive part of the wing. Goes in short Menzie on the bounce to Snelling. Don't know about that kick. Back to Menzie. He works it out wide. The Bombers can go here. He goes long to a 3-on-1 on Phillips. Phillips did well to cause a contest, though. That was brilliant from Phillips. Caused the contest with 3 Blues around him. Caused the stoppage. Blues had 18-7 inside 50s in the second quarter. Bombers currently lead at 8-2. Bombers get it forward here. Stringer gets a bad bounce though. McGovern over the top to Doherty. Spins out, gives the handball to Walsh, makes it his problem. Walsh almost broke for the free kick. Then picks it up, dragged down again. And gets a free kick, Walsh. Walsh gets 2 free kicks in the back 50 to save his team. But the Blues just look overawed at the moment. He goes in short. Finds Doherty on the Toyota logo. Gives it back to Walsh and he drives it down the wing. Good kick though. Finds the Koning who got free. The Blues want to keep moving, which is good to see. He's got Akers on the left. He gives it out. Now Silvani over the top. He's got a couple of options in short. Oh, they didn't read it. That was shocking football from Carlton. Both the forwards stood there, told each other to mark it. Neither of them did. It was Curnow and Owies. Now Curnow tackled well, holding the ball. He threw it. Oh, this is terrible umpiring. Curnow gets it out couldn't get it out though. And now McGrath kicks it away with an outside torpy it was. Great kick finds merit. And now the Blues are giving away 50. So Zach Merritt gets 50. Plays on though, Zach Merritt. Goes long to right. Good mark. That was terrible football from the Blues. They worked that forward. Charlie Curnow, and it was Matt Owies, I believe. The kick inside the forward 50 was the best kick that they've done all night going forward from Jack Silvani. And then Owies stood there, didn't put his hands up and left it. But Charlie Curnow has to talk. Terrible from both players. The Blues had a huge chance to get back in this game with a quick goal. And now down the other end, Peter Wright, who's a lethal set shot. A chance here to almost put this game to bed in the third quarter. Peter Wright comes in, kicks towards goal. The umpire barely moves. Welcome back to football, Peter Wright. The Bombers were pretty lackluster in the first half, but all of a sudden they've just piled on 5 goals pretty quickly, only just under 10 minutes of playing time. And the Blues are a shot. Michael Voss does not looks overwatered at the moment. It doesn't look like he knows anything they can do. Peter Wright's lifted. He's got 4 goals now. He looks dangerous. Wiedemann's causing a contest. A stupid free 50-metre penalty against the Blues there. They didn't get back quick enough. Wiedering was nowhere near Peter Wright. He had time there, and he just he wasn't quick enough on that ball. Peter Wright, who has been dangerous, has been a dangerous forward for a year and a half, kicks the goal. Back in the middle, Martin coming through. He's got Kennedy trailing him. Just gave off the handball to Hobbs. Caldwell through the front of the stoppage. The Bombers can get another one here. Guelphy fumbled. Give it back to Caldwell. Off to Menzie. This is brilliant footy from the Bombers. The Bombers are great. Menzie finishes the goal. 6 in a row. What a team to watch this season, the Bombers. They're going to be hard to beat now. Six goals in a row. The Bombers are burying the Blues right now. This was 2 points the difference at halftime. And the Blues haven't came out of the sheds yet. That was so easy out of the middle of the ground. Draper nearly gathered it. Martin gave it off to Hobbs. Hobbs gave it off to Caldwell. He kept running. All the Blues midfielders trailing. Guelphy had time to fumble inside the forward 50, give it back to Caldwell, and then Menzie with a great finish. And a 666 warning against the Blues. Unprofessional from the Carlton at the moment. Draper thumps it forward about 15 metres. Snelling does the same on the bounce. Great tap on there from Langford. Caldwell going inside the forward 50. Didn't get his hands up right. They get the kick away. There was Wiedering. It bounces to Caldwell. Good work from Sard. He runs onto it. They need a bit of pace in the game now, the Blues. Sard gives it off to Motlop. Good break at the tackle there. Kicks a high ball towards the wing. At the back is McGrath. Great mark. The Bombers want to keep going here. They want to bury the Blues. Hobbs goes in short. Great mark from Wiedemann. Just on the forward side of the wing. He goes out wide to find Laverde. The Bombers are all over him at the moment. The kick inside the forward 50 to 2 metre Peter. Great to see this man back. The Bombers are going to be so dangerous this season with this man. And a chance now to kick his 5th goal. Third of the third quarter. Young and Silvani were trying to man him. Neither of them got near him in that contest, and a great mark from Peter Wright. We've seen Taylor Walker as the key forward this week kick 10 goals. Peter Wright, if Carlton can't get a hold of him, he could be well on his way. Peter Wright comes in, he's hooked it to the left. It's going to hit the point post, it looks like. No, Wiedering takes it on the last line. So Wiedering goes across to find Sard in the defensive pocket. They still want to move it a little bit quicker, the Blues. Doherty goes in short. Finds Chera. Gives it off to Sard. They have no options here, Sard, so he just gives a handball over the top to Doherty, who kept running. Silvani goes in short, finds Motlop. Still no forward structure here from the Blues. They've got Curnow long, and that's about it. He cuts it inside. Draper thumps it away from Curnow. Caldwell tackled well from Cripps. Gave it off to Draper. Now the Bombers can link up in the middle. Here they go. Durham to Martin. Martin gives it off to Menzies. The handball from Menzies was poor. Durham almost went to ground. Kept it in front of him. Well done there from Silvani to get back. But Martin's still going. Chincotta went for the body, not the ball. Gets it out the back. Kennedy off to Chincotta. Did well. Now the Blues can take a breath. Akers over the top to De Koning. He'll take the mark. The Bombers love this frenetic football. It was just the handball from Menzies went to the toes of Durham. It's a really poor handball. They could have been another one there, the Bombers. That probably would have iced this game. 39 points at the moment. If you just joined us, 6 goals in a row from the Bombers. Akers on the wing, goes long. Curnow on a one-on-one, got the hands up. Should have marked it. Motlop gathered, give it off to De Koning. De Koning, good kick. Finds his captain in Doherty in short. Doherty wheels around on the right boot. Goes into the pocket to a leading Martin. Great spoil from Teppel, the ex-captain. Still an inspirational leader of this side. Great effort to get back and cause the spoil. Dyson Hempel putting a couple of fists around. Oh, he's went to the ground. That was a dive. Umpire wasn't falling for it. Here Phillips knocks it down. Martin got tackled well, slung to the ground. The kick away was poor, and Curnow cuts it off. Charlie Curnow. He's kicked 4 behinds today, but this is a chance he has to take for the Blues to keep him in it. They've kicked 3 goal 10. The Blues. They could have easily have kicked 10 goal 3. The set shots they've been missing have been pretty gettable shots. He's missed 3 goals tonight, Charlie Curnow. 3 set shots, 4 overall. Curnow comes in, kicks towards goal. That's better, Charlie! The Blues get one back. $33 points the difference. We saw the Bombers pile on 6 quick goals. The Blues get a settler. Nick Martin currently leading all comers with the 24 touches. After that, we have Adam Chera with the 22, Walsh with the 19, along with Hobbs and Doherty round at the top 5 at the moment. And leading goal kicker at the moment is Peter Wright with the 4 goals. So great work there from the Blues. Great pressure in that stoppage. The kick away from Martin was cut off pretty well there from Curnow. And he actually takes the lead finally as the leader in the Coleman, as Taylor Walker actually met equal spot with Jeremy Cameron. Back in the ruck, Phillips knocks it forward. Coming through as Perkins, dropped it, could have been in trouble. Kennedy dropped it as well. Sard handles it at the back to De Koning. Has some space, got a high one there, De Koning, but play onto the call. High ball for Redmond. Did well to spoil it down. Caldwell out the back to Heppel. And the Bombers want to sit it. They give it to the runner in Hind. He breaks away and goes long towards the forward flank and right. Not the best kick, and Young's happy to tap it out of bounds. They may even sub right out soon, just because he's a little bit... Wouldn't be surprised if Peter Wright gets subbed out tonight. Not because he's playing bad by any means, but he does look a little bit tired at the moment. First game back for the season. Back in the ruck, Cripps gets at the handball to Cottrell, who gets dragged down. Gate the handball nicely to Kennedy and now to Cripps. Cripps drives it down the wing to Kerno. Only got the one arm up there. Heppel to Laverde. Handballs it inside to Redmond. Redmond goes in short. That wasn't 15 to Merritt, but Redmond kept running. He loves a little bit of a gallop, this man. Hobbs back to Redmond from 60 metres out. Drives it to a one-on-one in the pocket. Who else but Peter Wright? That was some brilliant football from Mason Redmond. And down low was Peter Wright. Haven't seen a return game like this from a forward in a long time. But a chance here to kick his 5th goal. Loves to run, this man, Mason Redmond. And he played brilliantly there in the kick to right. So Peter Wright, to kick his 5th goal, comes in. That's as straight as you like. 5 goals for 2 metre Peter. Back out to 39 points the difference. The Bombers looking really strong at the moment. Seven of the last 8 goals for the Bombers. They're going to be really hard to beat this season. They have a really good run home. They have North Melbourne twice. They have North Melbourne again and West Coast again, which is 2 guaranteed wins, you would say. If they can take these winnable games against the Carltons and the like that are below them, they'll make finals. And tonight, they're setting a statement. Great work from Peter Wright. He's got 5. So back in the middle. Phillips knocks it at the back. Caldwell couldn't grab it. Chera taps it to himself. Gets some space. Did nicely to Walsh. Walsh drills it inside the forward 50 on the left boot. It was a poor option. It was a tumble punt. Now Owies back to Doherty. Doherty with a kick into the pocket. Nowhere in particular. And Zerk Thatcher sees it over the line. Looks like Paddy Dow's about to come on in a second. Just getting a bit of strapping done here. Paddy Dow getting a bit of grippo. He's about to come onto this ground. Probably should have come on a little bit earlier in my opinion. They needed a bit of run. But he now throws it in the umpire. To Koning, gets a little tap out to Motlop. He's going to gather it. Perkins, good tackle. Great defensive pressure from the Bombers. And Hobbs drags Cripps, and it'll be another ball up in the pocket. Phillips taps it down. Cripps to Walsh. Akers back to Walsh in the pocket. Sam Walsh, they need a lifter from the team. Goes into the pocket. Mackay gets it spoiled away. Laverde, that was a dangerous kick. He got, oh, well, fortune favours the brave. Ben Hobbs takes the mark. Got very lucky there, Laverde. Landed in the arms of Hobbs, who goes long down the wing. It's a poor kick, though. Kemp cuts it off. The Blues need a late one here to give him any sort of chance. He goes long here, Kemp to a 2-on-1. Mackay got in front, couldn't bring it down. Phillips gives it off to Redmond. Still running backwards here, the Bombers behind. Goes into the defensive pocket and finds the old reliable Jordan Ridley. So now Ridley in the defensive pocket. Out of side, he'll go. Long kick. He's got Phillips out there. He goes up. McGovern from behind spoils it away. Cottrell. Quick hands to Chera. Wasn't the best. Walsh gets dragged down from Caldwell, and it'll be another stoppage here. Just outside the forward 50 here for the Blues. 3 minutes, 45 seconds to go. Blues have been blitzed in this second half so far. Phillips knocks it down. Cripps can't grab it. Eventually gets it out to Walsh. Walsh to Sard. Sard to Chincotta. And here they go, the Blues. Kemp gives it back to Chincotta. They're still handballing it around here, the Blues. Can they get someone free? They do. Chera from 60 metres out drills it inside. That's the best kick they've had all night inside their forward 50. And Matt always takes the mark. He was grimacing a little bit there, always, as he took that mark when Hine dragged him to ground. But the Blues finally got a player open, which was Chera. And that has by far been their best kick of the night inside their forward 50. And the one thing they did there is they didn't target Curnow or Mackay. They targeted someone else. So the defenders who were drawn to those two weren't drawn to Always, who took a pretty easy, uncontested mark. Probably been their best small forward this season, Matt Always. Hit 8 goals, 2 for set shots. Comes in straight in front and gives the Blues a little bit of hope. Kicks the goal. Got 2 of the last 3 of the Blues. They need something to go into with three-quarter time. Still 2 minutes to go. Nearly 3. They need a lifter. They probably need another one, in my opinion. So back in the middle, Draper knocks it down. Stringer couldn't gather it. Caldwell gives it back to Draper, and he's leaping through the middle of the ground. The kick inside 50 was a bit wonky, and Boyd read it well. Boyd wants to go. The Blues want a late one here. Cottrell on the defensive flank gives the handball over the top. It was a very slow handball. Walsh did well, though. Chincotta inside finds Cottrell. Great kick. Cottrell goes over the top. Great find to Curnow, who goes immediately inside the forward 50 to his brother in a one-on-one. Laverde did well to get the front spot. Redmond gets out their handballs to Caldwell, and the Bombers have had all the answers in this third quarter. Menzies at half-back has the ball and goes long, not the best kick. Cut off well from McGovern, who immediately goes. The Blues know they need to go now. Boyd feigned the handball, then goes inside with a great kick and finds Matt Kennedy at 50. Great composure there from the young man in Boyd. He could have blazed long, but he took a second, looked for Matt Kennedy at the top of the 50, and a chance here for the Blues to get a second goal in a row, bring them right back into this one. Kennedy absolutely shanked that ball. It may get lucky into Mackay, just dropped it. Martin breaks past 1, breaks past 2. The handball to Always was brilliant. Always drags it towards goal, and it's on the full. 33 points the difference. Just under a minute and a half to go in this third quarter. Blues have been better in the past 5 minutes. Bombers have absolutely dominated the remainder of this third term. McGrath goes long. Pack of players out there. De Koning and Wiedemann. De Koning couldn't bring it down. Perkins jams it on the boot and goes 50 metres forward. Menzies did well to cause a contest on Sard. Thumps it towards the boundary line. And that's great work from the Bombers to get some meterage. Did well there, Menzies, because that looked all Sard's ball. But he just put a fist in there to get it towards the boundary line. The Bombers just have wanted the ball more in this third term. They've had more of the ball. They've had 14 tackles to 4. They've just been hunting the Blues. De Koning takes it out of the ruck, handballs it out wide to Walsh. Walsh, little short kick was poor, and it just tracks the boundary line and stays in bounds. It eventually rolls out, though. 1 minute to go. If there's a late one for either side here, the Blues have a bit of a chance. The Bombers probably sew this game up. Umpire throws it in. Knocks it down Draper. Kennedy almost gets a high one, but Guelphy went in harder there. Be another stoppage. Coming through was Cripps. Did well to get past Perkins. Walsh tried to break the tackle at Guelphy. Got slung to ground there. Now Kennedy. High fend off against Kennedy here. Be a free kick to Nick Martin on the wing. 41 seconds to go. I think he got a bit unlucky there. Yeah, no, that's probably a free kick against Kennedy. So Martin has it, goes back. I think the Bombers will be content with this three-quarter time lead. Now Langford in the back 50. A little bit foreign to him this season. He's been back there a few times, though, to help up the defence. Looks like he's gone back for the past minute or so just to shore up that defensive 50. He goes long. Stringer couldn't mark. Martin tackled well from Kennedy and dragged out of bounds. 16 seconds to go in this third term. Forward half for the Blues. They would love a late one here to Carlton. The young Bombers just really playing well tonight. Draper knocks it down. Walsh couldn't gather it. Cripps and Walsh over it, but eventually called up again. 8 seconds to go. The Blues would need a quick clearance here to have any chance. Taccone thumps it out wide. That's actually a good tap. Walsh has a quick chance here. Drives it inside the forward 50. Mackay and Curnow play on. Siren goes. And the Bombers blitz the Blues at three-quarter time. They take a massive lead going into the final change. At three-quarter time, the scores are 11-7, 73 to the Bombers. Lead the Blues 5-10, 40. Alright, just get these last few statistics up, guys. Alright guys, so at three-quarter time, leading disposal getter on the ground is Sam Walsh. After that, with Nick Martin with the 25 touches. He's probably been best on ground. He'd get 3 votes at this stage. Chera with the 24, Hobbs with the 21, probably gets 1 vote at this stage. And then Sam Dockey with the 20 round out the top 5. And if the AFL Fantasy watchers out there, we have Nick Martin with the 91, Hobbs with the 84, Walsh with the 76, Dockey with the 73, and then Peter Wright, who's probably got 2 votes at this stage with the 5 goals, has 72 rounding out the top 5. Alright, I'll be back in a sec, guys. Just go to the bathroom. Alright, guys. Fourth quarter is about to start. Zach Merritt being brilliant tonight. I know he doesn't have the touches that he usually gets. He's only had the 13 touches, but he went forward. He was unselfish for his team. And he's actually have way more influence in probably the Blues' leading disposal getter on the ground, who's Sam Walsh. He's hardly done much. I don't think Sam Walsh has had a decent game at all. I wouldn't be, even if Carlton was somehow to win this game, he would have to have a massive last quarter to even get considered for votes, because I think he's done nothing. He's had 27 useless touches. I think that's just the Blues midfield as a whole. They don't do anything with it. It's 27 touches and 25 of them are handballs to nothing, or a short kick backwards. So the Blues, big last turn for both sides. In the ruck, Draper knocks it down and runs onto it. He likes a bit of a run, this man. He can't gather it though. Sard knocks it out wide and Akers gathers it. Here go the Blues. They need to score quickly in this last quarter. Akers goes to the long kick, finds Mackay. It's a good option. Mackay at half forward, gives it off to Motlop. The Blues have got nothing to lose. He goes in short to find Charlie Curnow, who's about 55 metres out. Charlie doesn't have too many options. He just goes with the worm burner inside the forward 50. It gets to Silvani, who kicks it towards the top of the 50. And it's Adam Sard. Against the former side, this would be a massive goal. Now, just as a sub call quickly, Jack Martin has been subbed out of the game. Paddy Dow is into it. Jack Martin had a pretty big second term. Just couldn't convert. So a bit of a surprise, but Paddy Dow is on now. So Adam Sard here, top of the 50. Needs to get this one here to get the Blues rolling. He drives it towards goal. And marked on the line is Tom de Koning. No, wait. Free kick's been ripped out. And Sam Draper will get it. De Koning took a brilliant mark, but it was a free kick before. That's a massive call. I'd like to look at that again. But Draper gets the free kick on the last line of defence. He goes long. Great mark from Durham. Defensive 50 takes the mark. Blues can't drop their heads though. They got it forward quickly there. That would have been a brilliant start. So Redmond goes in short, finds Martin. Best player on the game tonight. Been brilliant this season. Has no one coming at him, so he just takes a couple of steps forward and then kicks it down the wing. Not the best kick. Durham did well to cause a contest. Probably got taken high by McGovern. Play onto the call. Doherty gives it off to Cottrell. Sard. Now Chincotta running forward. Now the Blues can go. They link up nicely. Doherty kick towards the forward 50. Finds Mackay. Great work from the Blues. It wasn't exactly the cleanest play of football, but they got it up there. And a chance here from Harry Mackay to get them with a bit of a chance here. Give him a breath of life. He'll have to kick this. This will have to be a big kick. He marked it on 50. He'll have to kick it outside. Harry Mackay comes in. Kicks towards goal. It fades to the left. Still in play. Draper thumps it through for behind. McGrath. Oh, he only just took the bounce in time. Gives it off to Snelling. He's going to get dragged down. Here go the Blues. Kennedy to Doherty. Over the top. Curnow spins out of trouble. That was poor from the Bombers defender. The kick inside from Motlop. Couldn't gather it. Silvani spins out of trouble. Handballs it inside to Koning. Didn't glove it. And now the Bombers get away with that one. Hobbs to Heppel. He kicks it out wide. Here go the Bombers. They want to put a dagger in the heart of the Blues. Stringer on the wing. He goes long. It's a great kick. Finds Langford. He wheels around. He's on the 50-metre line right now. He kicks it inside. Not the best kick. Makes Menzie run for it. Young dropped that. He's in trouble. Great work from Menzie with the defensive pressure. And he's pinned holding the ball. Well done from Menzie. He didn't give up on that play. The kick from Langford going inside the forward 50 was terrible. But he still kept on going, kept working. And then the great tackle on Young. Grabbed that left arm, dropped the football, holding the ball. The Menzies already got one tonight. Chance here to give Bombers a likely win. He comes in, Menzie. He's got it! 38 points the difference. The Bombers are probably home now. First goal of the final quarter. And the Blues fans disappointed once again. Great finish for Menzie. He's got 2. He needs to keep scoring goals. Needs to keep putting on that defensive pressure to keep his spot on this side. He's keeping it probably Andrew McDonald, Tip and Woody out of this team right now. But he's doing everything he can to keep his spot, and he did brilliantly there. Right now, if the Bombers win this game, they go to 6th on the ladder, I believe. They will, and it'll be equal with the Saints. Great work from the Bombers. Back in the middle to Conan. Gives it off to Dow. They're working backwards here, the Blues. Boyd goes long towards the wing. Does a push in the back. McGrath gives away the free kick. Silvani will take it. The Blues, if they have any chance, have to get one now. Silvani inside the forward 50. Poor kick. And it trickles out of bounds. About 40 out from the Blues goal. Bombers have been great tonight. Probably didn't have the best start to this game, but this second half has been really good to see. Umpire lobs it in to Koning, knocks it down, coming through with Silvani. Tackled well, handballs it out. Cripps will get there first, got pressure from behind. Gives that the handball to Kennedy. This could be a fire starter for the Blues, but Kennedy missed his line and missed everything. So Nick Hind in the back pocket has the football. Plays on and goes long to the members' side. Up goes right. Great ball from behind from DeConing. Rolls out of bounds. The Blues have actually had the territory quite a lot in this final quarter. Oh, shit. The Verde's still bleeding from the mouth right now. It looks like lipstick. He's had that much blood on his mouth. Draper knocks it down. Dow grabs it and gets it forward to a one-on-one. Mackay's being held. Play on's the call. At the back is Kennedy. Just left it behind. And Redmond happy to see it through for a behind. Carlton have had their opportunities tonight. They've only had 2 less scoring shots. But they still can't convert. And it's cost them in games this season. And it likely is going to cost them tonight. Redmond went in short to Zerk Thatcher in the defensive pocket. He plays on and goes long to a pack of players. Up goes Kemp, couldn't bring it with him. Akers to Kennedy. He has some space, did well. Kemp, the Blues working it okay. Kerno tackled, should be gone. Play on. No, pinned. Great play for there from the Bombers. The pressure from them tonight has been immense. Laverde in short, that was a poor kick. Went to the feet of Menzie, who just jammed it on the boot. High ball for Merritt, couldn't mark it. Great work from Boyd. It gets out to Wiedemann, got the hands free. Out to McGrath, gives it to Menzie. Menzie on the boot, high ball towards the wing. Up goes Wiedemann, couldn't mark it. In fact, it was Caldwell. Boyd did well get out the handball. Eventually gets to Chera. He drives it long inside the forward 50. 3-on-2. Mackay got his hands up, did well. Kennedy didn't have a left boot. Swings around on the right. In short, great kick, finds Ed Kerno. Great work from Kennedy. He's actually been pretty good tonight. Been pretty good all season, in my opinion. Blood rule's being called, so Jaden Laverde will finally come off the ground, and Ed Kerno will take the kick for goal after he gets off. So Sam Draper has been subbed off. No injury concerns, we believe, but D'Ambrosio is coming on. So they want to save Draper. They don't want to get to see an injury to him. So D'Ambrosio will be coming onto this game. It looks like the Bombers may think they've got this win. I mean, Andrew Phillips is a pretty capable ruckman, so it's not like they're losing too much. Ed Kerno, to give the Blues some sort of hope, 25 metres out. 45-degree angle. Comes in. He's hooked it. Another behind for the Blues. Poor kicking is poor football. So Ridley goes in short, finds Zerk Thatcher, who's been very good tonight as well. Their defence, the Bombers' probably biggest question mark this before the season started was their defence, but they have performed very well this season. They've had a couple of struggles this season, probably against Port with their big forwards, but they held up. But they've held up most stages, especially against the Cats. They struggled. But other than that, they've played brilliantly. Phillips tried to get a kick free, couldn't do it. Perkins couldn't gather it. Now Cherry out to Walsh. Handball was poor. Kemp picked it up though. Kick inside the forward 50 was good. Great play there from Hind to cut that off from Curnow. In fact, it's Redmond. And he goes for a run. Akers kicks it away from him. He knows he would have been faster. Akers actually did pretty well, then dropped it. And it rolls out of bounds. Well done there from both players, Redmond and Akers. And he went on the full, in fact, from Durham. So Akers will get the free kick. So Chincotta will get the free kick here on the wing. He decides to go long. Towards Silvani, couldn't bring it down. Kennedy tries to get the handball outside, gets to Walsh. Now to Koning in the pocket on the right boot. Sets it up to the top of the goal square. Great mark going back there with Zerk Thatcher. Brilliant football. Ridley goes in short, finds Martin. He's got Ridley who kept going. He decides not that. He decides to go inside. Finds Hind. So now the Bombers want to switch it. They want to really put a exclamation point on this game. Heppel goes to Redmond. Heppel back to Martin. He just never stops running, this guy. A couple of years ago, he was in the waffle. Now he's one of the most important players in this Bombers lineup. Ridley goes out wide. Finds Snelling, who immediately goes inside the forward 50. Great kick. Free kick to Wiedemann. Not paid. Play on. Wiedering runs away from Langford. Kick across the body to a one-on-one. It's Mackay and Ridley. Bounced off his knee. Lands to Cottrell. Cottrell did brilliantly there. Now Ed Curnow through the middle to Cripps. Here go the Blues. Dow should be pretty fit at the moment. Goes long to a one-on-one. Great kick to Silvani. Couldn't mark though. Gets at the back. Silvani gives it off to Charlie Curnow. This has to be a goal. Charlie finally gets another. The Blues finally get one in this final term. That could be big. Still 11 minutes to play. Almost over 11 minutes to play. There's still a chance here. He's got another. He kicked poor early, but he's kicked 2 goals the last 2 shots he's had. Back to 30 points the difference. Great work from Silvani on McGrath. He should have marked it. Didn't really matter because he got it to Charlie Curnow, who snapped a good goal. Blues still in this one. Cripps gives it off to Chera. They get the clearance here, the Blues. Long kick to Curnow. Up he goes. Only with the one hand, though. At the back is Motlop. Can he score? He's hooked it too much, and it's trickled through for a boundary throw-in. Why are the score reviewing this? Surely you guys are in the best fucking position on the ground. And he's rolled it through for a behind Motlop. So it will be a behind for the Blues. They just simply had to get that goal. Would have given them a lot of momentum in the past 15 minutes. In the last 15 minutes, sorry. But yet again for the Blues, it's another behind. So McGrath takes the kick in here for the Bombers, takes a bounce, and he goes long down the wing. It's 2-on-2 here. De Koning is one. Phillips is also one. Phillips got hands to it, but then De Koning read it well. Walsh handballs it out the back to Cottrell. to Shinkotta. Here go the Blues. They're locking it inside their forward half. Long kick to the pocket. Harry Mackay. Another push in the back against the Blues. Zerk Thatcher gets the free kick. He goes long to Koning, who probably got pushed as well. Play on. Chincotta gets it out to Cottrell. Great play. Down to Doherty. Then great smother. I think that was Merritt, but the Blues still get it. Thumped it inside the forward 50 here from Kemp. Didn't read it, Curnow. Now the Bombers can steady. Durham gives it to Heppel. He runs the forwards to the back pocket. He goes back. It's not 15. He's in trouble here, Ridley. Dragged to ground. Should have been pinned. Blues have been a bit unlucky tonight in the umpiring department. Should have been a free kick to Mackay there. Knocks it down to Koning. Coming through was Martin. Picked it up nicely. Caldwell handballs it to Hind. He immediately wants to go. Goes out wide to D'Ambrosio. The kick runs towards the boundary. He'll have pace D'Ambrosio, but he's happy to see it out of bounds. The Blues need 5 goals to get in front and steal this win. They've only kicked 6 tonight, but they've had 86% of the forward half in this quarter. DeConey knocks it out the back to Cottrell. He picks it up. Threw that out. Play on. Cripps to Doherty. Handballs it back to Chera. Here go the Blues. Chincotta to Kemp. He kicks it inside the forward 50. Great kick! And finds Matt Owies. If the Blues are going to get a run, they have to start here. So Matt always comes in straight in front, 45 metres out. Ran out to the right, then overcompensated. Couldn't get the distance. Mackay in the pocket. Doesn't have a right boot. Gives it to Dow. Didn't have any options, so he handballs it backwards. Poor handball. McGrath to Heppel. And now right on the defensive line from Laverde. Goes in short. And that'll be 50 from Charlie Curnow. That is shocking. The Blues locked it inside their forward half. Hind was not exactly away. And now he gets 50 metres and they get a bunch of space to work into the Bombers. Hind goes in short, finds Merritt. You'd be frustrated as a Blues fan tonight. The big talk all week. It's been for a month now. Fans and everyone have been pleading the Blues to lift. And yet again, they haven't done much this tonight as well. They went asleep in the third quarter. That's when the game was won. And tonight, they lose again, you would think. Goes across the wingy Redmond. D'Ambrosio couldn't mark it. Now on the ground, Cottrell soccers it forward. Great pickup from McGrath. Read it brilliantly and goes long. They got 3 men everywhere, the Bombers. They can win it here and now. Durham's got Stringer on the lead. He takes the mark. He's got an option in the pocket. He doesn't decide to take it. He's still got it here, Stringer. I think it's Wiedemann. But Stringer wants to take all the glory for himself. 8 minutes to go. This would put the win in the bed. Stringer sees the lead of Wiedemann. Poor marking from the Blues. And Wiedemann, who's been pretty good tonight without any kicking a goal. A chance here to send the Bombers home. Get them 6th spot on the ladder. And give them a real start towards this second half of the season. Poor play there from the Blues. Poor marking. Wiedemann got out way too easily there. About 25 metres out. Tough angle here for Wiedemann. He comes in. Oh, and he's left it out to the right. It's a poor kick from Wiedemann. Usually a pretty good set shot, but he misses there. So now the Blues out wide. Kemp kicks it into Dow. Did well to cause a contest. Phillips fists it away. Martin. Little kick off the ground. Walsh. Probably gets... Well, Walsh isn't impressed. Too busy fighting to care about Caldwell's kick who got it smothered. Now the Blues can go. Kennedy out wide. Poor kick. Picks it up off the bounce. Owies tried to spin out of trouble from Ridley. Gets it at the back to Dow. Dow goes in short. That's not 15. Chera dragged down from Snelling. And the umpire from out of zone has pinned him. Great pressure from the Bombers. Snelling gets him pinned holding the ball. We've got Hobbs in short here, Snelling. He decides to take as long as he needs. Drives it long. Great mark from Young. He plays on. Handballs it out wide to Kemp, who has a couple of options long. He decides to go to Mackay. Kick gets out the back. Mackay will be quickest. He'll get there first. If he gets an obliging bounce, he'll be away. He sockers it forward here, Harry Mackay. He gets it. Handballs it. Great pressure from the Bombers. Now Silvani in the pocket. Rolls it into the behind. Rolls it through for a behind. Back to 29 points. The Blues' goal kicking tonight has been woeful. Silvani drags down Heppel, then gathers the football, almost legged, gives it at the back to Chera. Now Walsh has some time, drives it high towards the forward 50. Laverde can't mark. Always leaves it behind. McGovern leaves it behind as well. Snelling almost through that. Hind over the top to Perkins. Now Heppel. Great play from the Bombers. They deserve to win this one tonight. Caldwell handles it inside. They're just too slick, the Bombers, at the moment. Wiedemann back to Caldwell. Jams it on the boot. Be cut off, though, from Boyd. He plays on. He's got a couple of options inside. Cottrell is one of them. Poor handball, though. Poor footy from the Blues. Guelphy goes out wide. He goes to Wright. Hasn't had too many touches, but of course kicked 5 goals. He's been brilliant. Wright goes over the top. Not the best kick. Sat on Wiedemann's head. Good pressure from Chera. Now to Kemp. Over to Wiedemann. Almost falls to ground. Just got the hands away. Boyd goes inside with a dangerous looking kick. Great pressure from Snelling. Ed Curnow fights for the football. Always does. Boyd and Kemp meet the ball. Great tackle from Stringer. Drags him to the ground. And it'll be another stoppage inside the forward 50 for the Bombers. Nick Martin been brilliant tonight. My 3 voter at the moment. He's been brilliant. Phillips knocks it down. Kennedy gives it out to Chera. Takes a bounce. Has no option, so he just kicks it across his body. McGrath couldn't gather it. Now over the top from Walsh to Silvani, who's streaming down the wing. He's got an option long. He decides to go shorter. Motlop plays on. He's about to get dragged down. Shakes off McGrath. Goes long to a 1-on-1 in the goal square. Oh, he's pushed Ridley under it. And it's out. Another behind. That is shocking football from the Blues. Motlop obviously should have played on. He took that extra second, which put himself under pressure. Matt always was out the back. That is shocking football from Carlton. Thank fuck I'm not a Carlton supporter, because fuck me, that was pathetic. Fuck me. Long kick down the wing. Phillips couldn't mark. Now Merritt gives it off to Hobbs. He takes on Kennedy brilliantly and kicks it long to a 1-on-1 in the pocket. Stringer and Wiedering did well. Wiedering. McGovern to Sard. Over the top. Poor handball. Snelling. Missed Stringer on the handball. Coming through was Kemp. Dragged down. Played for the free. And then he got it in the end. Oh, he's gone. Great pressure from the Bombers. Caldwell gets the free kick. He's been very good in this last quarter. He's been good this season as well, playing in the midfield. Came to the Bombers last season, played round 1, and then was injured. The Blues just wasted that opportunity. I was surprised they paid that one. I mean, I think it was there, but I'm surprised they paid it. Tackles inside the forward 50 tonight. Just prove how the Bombers have played this footy is great footy. 20 tackles inside the forward 50 to the Blues, only 7. Chance here for Jai Caldwell. Game over. Carlton season is basically over. I think it was over a couple of weeks ago, Lachlan, but I agree with you. Caldwell comes in. Kicks towards goal. The Bombers are home. Great finish from Jai Caldwell. They're going to be a force to reckon with, the Bombers, this season. Great finish. And the Bombers fans have a reason to smile at the moment. Brad Scott has rejuvenated this team this season. And they're going to be hard to beat. Chance for the 8. I think they've almost locked it up. They've already got the North Melbourne and the Eagles going on for the rest of the season. They just need to beat the teams below them, and they'll make it easily. They're currently 6th on the ladder, 110%, which is a bit of a concern. They've got a couple of teams behind them who will be challenging, like Geelong, Fremantle. You also got Richmond, who are back in a bit of form at the moment. But right now, the Bombers, they're looking the goods. And Carlton now are sitting in the bottom 4 of the ladder. Wouldn't have said that at the start of the season. Back in the ruck, Taconi knocks it down. Coming through was Walsh, gives it off to Dow. Now Chincotta gets out the handball. Great smother from Guelphy. Now the Bombers can go forward. Phillips tries to break past Cripps. Free kick will be going to the Bombers anyway. So it'll be a free kick to Guelphy on the wing. 3 minutes to go. Hine goes in short to Merritt. Hasn't had the numbers tonight, Zach Merritt, but he's been good. He's definitely a better player this season than he has been, probably in his whole career. He may have had a better disposal average in his previous seasons and that sort of stuff, but he's been great coming on as captain this season. May have been a bit of a surprise, him being the choice, but Brad Scott gave him the challenge, and he's met to it in spades. Long kick from Merritt down the wing. Phillips may have been pushed out of that. McGovern gets played on. Gives off to Akers. Back to Kemp. Blues drive it forward now. Drives it to a one-on-one. Mackay and Zerk Thatcher. He's been brilliant. Great mark. May not be the biggest guy. May not be the biggest defender, Zerk Thatcher. But he plays his role brilliantly for these Bombers. He now goes long. Towards Phillips, who got in front. Great take. Phillips takes the mark. Maybe the Bombers could get another one. Just to really grind the Blues into the dirt tonight. On the wing right now. I mean, they've had more scoring shots to the Blues, and they're down by 34, and it haven't even looked likely all night. Up goes Guelphy from behind, couldn't bring it down. Boyd sends a tumble punt down the wing to Koenig and Phillips. Phillips did brilliantly from behind. Hine goes over the top, cut off well, and Akers will get the free kick. So Akers has the football now. Going to switch it here. Finds Wiedering, gives it to Kemp. Kemp goes down the middle of the ground. Good kick. Finds Dow. Dow gives the handball over the top. Terrible handball. Missed Chincotta by a metre. Terrible play. Great pressure from Merritt though. High ball here for the Bombers. Great play there from Doherty to get back. Takes the mark. He plays on here, Doherty. Maybe a late consolation prize here for the Blues. He hooks it back inside. Great kick. Couldn't mark it there, Kerno. On the ground, Laverde fighting for it. So is Motlop. Great work from McGrath. Handballs it out to Guelphy. He's going to get pressured up from Owies. Handballs it out wide. Finds Laverde. And now Redmond kicks it over the top to find D'Ambrosio. Hasn't done much as a sub tonight. Hasn't really had to. Against North Melbourne a couple of weeks ago. Kicked the winner for him. So he thought he'd just take a little bit of a back step tonight, D'Ambrosio. So he drives it long. 20 seconds to go. Up goes Phillips, 3 against 1. Probably gave away the free kick. No, he's just a bit tired, Andrew Phillips. The crowd has thinned out really quickly in this one for Carlton. But the Bombers will win tonight. Fans dare to dream of something massive this season from the Baby Bombers. They will take home a big 34 win. The Bombers will take home a massive 34-point win against the old rival. And they dare to dream in season 2023. What a win led by Zach Merritt and their young Bombers. What a massive win. Final scores, guys. The Bombers win 13-8, 86 to the Bombers. Take a 34-point win against the Blues, 6-16, 52. Thanks for watching the stream today, guys. I'll be on tomorrow with the Melbourne and Collingwood game, the Big Freeze. So hopefully you come and join us for that, and the podcast will be out probably Tuesday night, Wednesday morning. But thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you all